Call this meeting of the Historic Resources Board to order. Today is August 4th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'd like to ask everyone to be sure your cell phones are on silent. May we have a roll call, please?
Ernest Franco.
Here.
David Madera.
Here.
Pat Garrett.
Here.
Eric Renaissance.
Here.
Mandy Dubert.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
All right, next item, public comment. So now is the opportunity for anyone to speak about an item that is not on the agenda. And are there any comment cards?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
For this item.
All right, we'll move on then to informal project review. Now's the chance for any potential and or future project applicant to present their project to us for informal project review. And it looks like...
We did not get any applications for informal.
Okay. But it looks like we have...
Are you ready? Okay. Good evening. My name is Richard Ponce, 93 4th Street. I'm a member of the San Juan Committee, and we've talked about a gateway monument in the San Juan for the last 20 years or so. The Chamber of Commerce at one time in 2000 tried to do that. They tried to get a grant, and they weren't able to do so. Just recently, we got very lucky. A developer, Mr. Fulton, has stepped up and is going to contribute to the city on behalf of the San Juan Committee to create a gateway monument at the Alameda in 156. We put together, the committee put together a group of local residents, and you have the list of the names there, to help us design something that would be appropriate to our historical city. And there's a lot of other designs that we had, but basically this is what I think we all decided would be appropriate. The tower is going to be a copy of the tower on the bell tower on 156 and 101.
Okay.
I think that was built in
The lateral.
in the 30s, yeah. And we're trying to do something that is as close as we can to that image, because I think it's a beautiful monument. And the wall that's there also, we're trying to copy that. We were contributing some money from Mr. Fulton to help us do that. At one of our meetings, we've had, I think, 4 or 5 meetings with this group of people there to come up with a design. We had Kathy Schiffer from Schiffer Design with some great ideas. We invited Mr. Fulton. We invited Scott Ford from San Juan Oaks. Anthony Vitello, our supervisor of District 2, was with us, and a representative of Del Webb. And I think Del Webb is also interested in contributing to our project, possibly another one at the other end of town. So that's what we have there. You'll see in the packet. I think the first one in the packet is I think what we want to wind up with, something very similar to this. We have a lot of other drawings that also show what we want to do in the back of this monument. We want to make like a little welcoming something back there, put some tables back there, some benches, just for tourists to stop and rest there a little bit. There's one photograph there where it's actually the photograph of the monument that's out on the highway. So we're trying real hard to duplicate that. And there's a map of the location on the Alameda and 156 near Island Drive. kind of gives you an idea where the monument is proposed. We're going to raise the ground there. It's a dip right now. We're going to try to raise it up a few feet to get better visibility when you are on the highway. There's Roger proposed parking along Island Drive there for people coming into town. They can park there and start their trip into town. We hope to get this going once we go through all our paperwork. We hope to start maybe in October sometime. I think we have a lot of local people that will help us with making that mound.
You mean start construction or start fundraising or?
We have the funds.
Okay.
We have the funds. We just we're going to ask for other people to step up and help us, because we not only want to do that one, we want to do another one on the other gateway on
McCollum or?
McCollum, yeah. Because those two are our main gateways. One question I had, are these gateways part of the historical district?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That maybe we should think about in the future, because they are our gateways. Anyway, that's about it. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer.
Okay. I don't think we're commissioners. Are we board members? Do you have any questions? None?
Did this come up in the similar idea come up in the strategic plan?
Well, it's been talked about for a long,
Okay.
long time, I'm sure. Yes, well, yes.
Okay.
The language about, I guess I can get to that.
I like it, it's long overdue.
Do
Yeah.
you think this is what we're trying to do there would be good for someone?
Yeah.
As a board? Yeah.
And I know we've talked about this for so long, and there's been discussion about what kind of brand to use for town. I think we need to adopt a brand. Perhaps the city council, I don't know who will do that.
Well, actually, that's also on my list.
Good. And I think that should be step one,
Yeah.
and then the plan. And then everything that anyone wants to do should follow suit, I think.
Yeah. Well,
We talked about the chickens, but chickens come and go. We talked about, at one time, having signs downtown to reflect the streets, like Washington or Polk, which,
yeah, well,
Yes.
that I think is a little different than what
yeah,
we're doing here.
yeah.
That's another thing that we've talked about
Yeah.
a long time. In fact, we're hoping to have some monies left to brand San Juan, and we're also we had Kathy Shipper from Shipper Design come to one of our meetings and give us a presentation on branding San Juan. So that's one of our other efforts.
I like the motif because regardless of our religious preferences, we are here, this town is here because the mission is here, so
Exactly.
it's a nod to that. Who owns this property?
That's a city property.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
And so even the parking is on city property?
Yes.
Okay. David, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, by the way, David was our artist.
Yeah.
that Did all the rendering, and he made some other beautiful pictures of what we could plan in the back of the monument in the future. And as we go forward, we will present those also.
I like the exposed adobe,
Yes.
so you'll try to replicate that? Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to try to get as close as we can to what's out there. And I was talking to some of our local residents here that did or helped do the school monument, which is kind of a little bit like this. This is a little more elaborate. And they're very talented local contractors. And we're hoping that maybe we can get local people to
That would be
to actually
great.
do it. And then we have another one right here. That's pretty good.
Well, I think that you should put a call out in the Mission Village Voice for
Yes.
any interested parties when you're ready to do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
And we're going to need help with to fill it, because it's kind of in a dip. And we're going to fill it in, and Roger's already got plans to put drainage and pretty much all that stuff.
How high are you gonna put the fill in there?
Roger?
It's probably going to be about 2.5, 3 feet.
It's gonna be compacted?
Yeah, compacted, yeah, to that elevation of the sidewalk on the outside. how many come in?
Yeah, Roger's been out there checking it out, and he's got it pretty well under control as far as how we're going to do it.
I just say bravo to you, because it's been talked about for so long before I got here.
Yeah, we're very lucky that we were able to get a developer that really appreciates San Juan, and he's investing in San Juan more than just properties. He's actually investing in the town itself, and that's wonderful. We have Del Webb up here at San Juan Oaks. We met with him or his representative, and they are also willing to support San Juan and promoting San Juan. So we're in a good place right now.
I got it. If they need a bell. We have the bell that come off the firehouse. I don't know if you guys,
Yeah, we saw that. We checked it out. It might be a little too big, but we'll.
you might think about it,
Yeah.
because I think it's up to State Park now, isn't it?
No.
It's in storage.
Up there now?
Yeah, we have it stored in the back.
Yeah, there's other bells in town. I noticed one today on my walk, and I wondered, where they came from. I know one person who had owned this house was a long timer, and I wonder if it's a historic piece of property, the bell.
Where is it at?
With the,
It's on 5th Street. No, 5th Street or 6th Street. It was Anthony Botello's mother's home.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's the small bell. That's,
Yeah.
I think that's just,
that's a,
Just a ding
Yeah.
one.
Dinner bell?
well, that bell there that I was talking about was made in San Francisco for the fire department.
Yeah, you-
it's
you
a
told me about
beautiful
that, yeah.
bell.
Yeah.
The one
It should
that,
be out somewhere.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it used to be here, and the fire department tore it down for some
Yeah,
reason.
well, maybe, I don't know.
We have saved it, it's up and
Good,
down with all
yeah.
of the outriggers and the big posts, and we're just waiting for an
The right
appropriate
place.
side, and
Yeah.
then we'll get it
Yeah.
installed.
we're working on that. We're going to display that also.
Okay.
Very good, thank you.
Well, thank
Any
you
more
very much for all your efforts,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say comments to Richard and all the people from San Juan Bautista that have been working on this. I mean, they were asked to come and join and see what they could do about this. And on a joint effort together with the city staff and everything, really came together on this. And a big thanks to the developers who's willing to foot the bill on this, and it's fantastic. And I can see it's going to happen. So I would say by the end of the year,
I hope
maybe
so.
Wow.
we might be close to having something
Yeah,
Within our
at least
lifetime.
started, if not close to finished.
yeah, and I found out that most developers are willing to contribute. They just need to be asked.
Ask,
Yep.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to action items, we have the affidavit of posting agenda, we have consider request. Okay, we can't do that.
What can we do?
Yeah, okay. So we need, what do you want to do about the affidavit of posting agenda?
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second?
All right. Vote, please.
Board Member Franco?
Aye.
Board Member Garrett?
Aye.
Board Member Maderas?
Aye.
Board Member Greta?
Aye.
Chairman Hubert?
Aye.
All members of the board being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay. Next item is to consider request to revise the brewery project design review approval. The applicant is Hippolyto Cerda, and we are to consider a covered patio eating area in the plaza.
Rudy had called him a couple of times, I think.
Yeah, he said he was going to be here 10 after. I don't know if you guys wanted me to.
Continue it and maybe go to the next time.
Yeah, or we could discuss it further at
Well,
planning.
I'll move that we put it down after, consider it after historic
Okay.
streetscape. So make,
My question is this going to hold up on the construction, whatever is being like the parking lot, what have you? I mean, are they waiting to get an answer from us to get this done, whether we approve it or not? So in the meantime, what's being done?
That's, I think, what you should ask the applicant. I've been somewhat frustrated. I put a copy of my letter in there, and that's only one of 5 letters that corresponded with it. Said that there's big jobs are made up of a lot of steps, and that those little steps are not taking place.
Yeah, let's take care of the
Yeah.
conditions that we've already approved before we go further. Okay, so we'll discuss it after item 5A in case he shows
So it
up.
now becomes 5B.
5B. And it will be then a discussion item. Okay, then moving on to 5A, cities' historic streetscapes.
Wait a minute, maybe we want to take action on that possibly, so it shouldn't be a discussion item. Let's just make it 4B delayed.
Okay. Or wait till planning?
No,
No? Okay.
no, it started here, has
Okay.
to start here, because it's the historical district. But instead, because if you put it under discussion, we can't act on it.
Right.
But if we want to act on it at all, by having 4B delayed, is better than being a 5B.
Okay.
Okay.
So then we'll move on to discussing the city's historic streetscapes.
I've heard of it.
And that was my job, and I'm sorry I didn't get it to you until today. But it's a start. Just for the benefit of the audience, we've been talking about an ordinance for the historic, for the downtown district historics, for the historic downtown district streetscape, just to make sure that the Historic Resources Board has a voice in what happens downtown in terms of painting or sidewalks or signs or benches, whatever that may be. So this document that I've just put together quickly with input discusses the purpose for this, and then it covers the ADA ramps and curbs, benches, bicycle racks, colors, light fixtures, planters, roof lines, sidewalks, signage, trash, recycling receptacles, and then ideas about Historic Resources Board approval. The Historic Resource Preservation Ordinance is Chapter 11.06 of the Municipal Code. It doesn't really discuss this, and I'm not sure that we would want to mention it here. The design guidelines, I think, are a standalone document, and some of it is discussed in the design guidelines. For instance, signage goes into great detail, but we are just going to talk about public street signage. Roof lines is discussed in here in the design guidelines, but I think we need to think about what currently exists and what might exist in the future, and what we want to see and what we don't want to see. One thing that comes to my mind is a big satellite dish that's on 3rd Street on a 2-story property. And that's in the design guidelines, so even if we approve this, we can't say that's grandfathered because already the design guidelines tell us it shouldn't be there. Commissioners, I know you haven't had a chance to think about it or look at it, but is there anything just glancing? Are there any headings that you think should be added or deleted? Or
You talk about roof lines. You're talking about all kinds of things, and then equipment, mechanical equipment, is air conditioning units, and that would include stacks for ventilation. They should be painted the same color as the roof.
building? Okay.
As the roof. So that you don't have a black roof with a silver tube sticking
Yeah.
up or silver boxes.
Except if we're looking at a 2-story building with a big, so let's just look at a satellite dish. You think it should be painted the same color as the building, which would be white?
They can be painted any color you want them. I've gone through this before, but yeah, they can be painted because the signal still bounces off the dish and into the low noise amplifier.
Do we still need satellite dishes? I don't know if it's functional.
Well, you have 2 major companies, DirecTV and
Dish.
Dish.
Yeah, but this is a big,
Oh, I'm
big,
thinking of
big-
the
no,
little
yeah.
18 inches.
Yeah, that's what we
Talking
have.
like a TV style.
But I'm talking about the big ones that we used to have, or I never had.
6
those.
foot in diameter.
Yeah, the big, big
They're
ones.
27 feet up north.
So that's something to consider.
If they're gonna have them at all, they should be painted appropriately. I mean, that should be part of your design control,
Or,
or not be
okay,
there at all.
so the design guideline says, where is it? I always have so much stuff here. Well, the design guidelines is pretty specific about that. Maybe it's back here. Well, I have it here somewhere, but that doesn't help me. I mean, it talks about hiding it, building something around it, or where it should be placed. But anyway, would this document be part of an existing document? Would it stand alone?
I mean, part of the design code?
Yeah, would it be part of the design guidelines?
Yes, probably should be part of the design,
Okay.
because this covers the full aspects.
Historical and non-historical?
And the design guidelines, I know I wrote this down, I don't know what to do with it, but they were approved in 2004, so it might be time to take a good look at a lot of it.
We took a good look at it for the sign code.
Right, yeah.
So it's a living document. Times change, the design standards change. So we're good there.
Okay.
The sign ordinance, they affected chapter 7 of the design guidelines, and we made that specific.
So then we
And also
could just add
affected the ordinance, the municipal code itself. So wherever it had to go, it's like an octopus, you know, if it relates to certain sections, you go right to all those sections and make the appropriate changes.
Okay. Are there any other areas that we want to discuss?
How about street surfaces?
Oh,
Is it in here?
no. But that's a good point, too.
Yeah. You talk about
One of
streetscape.
the discussions there, you know, obviously in Third Street, we want to have that round down and then repave, you know, to asphalt surface. Ed talked about in the intersection, some type of different type of texture, you know, pavers or something like that, that would contrast the pedestrian access across the intersection.
Roger, can you turn on the microphone?
Rather than just asphalt.
Even the ADA, they're called warning pads, tactile
Yeah.
domes, or tactile
Tactile,
paving.
yeah.
They can be in more muted colors, like gray or black. We may not necessarily need the yellow. In fact, how did we get, I know it wasn't while you were here, but
That was part of that infrastructure project, and they did a lot of it with the construction of the sewer and water lines and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can order gray and brown as well as yellow.
and ours aren't looking so good. They're kind of dirty, and we noticed today on our walk, it's coming up in one area on Third.
And Third in Washington, that
Yeah,
one there,
yeah.
particularly where they always cook and
Well,
everything,
yeah,
it gets
that's-
really dirty, yeah. Mhm.
Bicycle racks, we would like to think, we are a pedestrian-oriented town. We'd like to promote walking, cycling.
And I think you should develop a bike standard. I've talked to a lot of people, and says, oh, I'm just going to put a pipe in the ground
Yeah.
there, you know, with a thing. And
Yeah.
I think we should develop a standard that
Yeah.
says, this is what we want.
And I
Yeah.
got some images today, but I suddenly had a thought, what about wagon wheels? I don't know if that would even be functional, but some of the ones I've seen look a little bit like that, and wagon wheels certainly represent.
We certainly wouldn't want to
town.
have any big fishes
No,
downtown.
no,
Like we have at Lux
like
Library.
at the library. And what prompted this was the recycling, the trash receptacles. I drove by the park today just to get a look for the bus stop, and I think I saw the old garbage, the barrel cans on McCollum, and they look bad. They're old, dilapidated, but they're still available. And what I would like to see is that we get more
We're gonna-
barrels. And
We're
if-
going to have to look for something there, because the old ones, when it would rain, they get saturated in the bottom with stink, and then
Okay.
people throw cigarette butts down there, and it was really a
There
maintenance problem.
could be
and we're
ways to
gonna have
mitigate that.
We're going to have to think about how to interface that, and so that they'll stay dry, clean, and sanitary, yeah.
All right,
Got a
well,
metal lid at the top with
Yeah.
some garbage can inside.
Just use
That way
it
the garbage don't
just an
go down.
insert, yeah.
as a dressing, yeah, just a,
Yeah,
You talking about wine barrels?
yeah. And we know we can still get them.
thank God.
We know somebody who may have some.
Empty wine barrels.
Yeah, empty. Would the public,
I
like,
know they had some comments, and I think Emily was upset when we painted the striping downtown right there in Franklin Street, and she didn't like the yellow.
well,
But
that's
as you
another
get
thing.
closer to the school, it is required. you know,
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure that
and-
the colors are required, but perhaps the tone
the tone, yeah.
could be.
right. In due time, most of them will fade, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I received several emails regarding the red. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah,
what the
right.
red standard is, but I did receive several emails regarding
Well,
And when you,
redness of the
The
red
redness,
curves.
yeah.
yeah,
They
and
could
when you
be
first,
toned down.
when you first paint them, that they are a little bit bright, you know, and then they.
well,
tend
since
to
we're
fade.
talking about paint colors and curves, and there's a driveway in the downtown area that has red paint. I'm sure the owner did it, and I'm sure, it's because people park there. But there must be something else that we can do to have people not park there. I mean, the adjacent areas next to the driveway could be red, and maybe the owner could have a sign, no parking, or,
Where's the red at?
shall I tell you? Okay, it's in front of the Mora driveway.
Oh,
It's a real red. Maybe that's what Emily
Did
sees
they
when
just
she...
recently paint that?
I don't know. I've been noticing it. I don't
We
know
were
if it's
painting where we found cars were parking too close to the return, so the side streets, the sight distance was hazardous, so we came back 15 feet from the curb return to keep a car from parking there so that the side streets would have proper sight distance and stopping distance.
and that works too, because
Yeah.
we couldn't see around.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I came out on Franklin Street right there about on Esther's, and you couldn't see,
Right.
you know.
You have
yeah.
to edge out
I did,
halfway
yeah,
to see.
yeah. And that's part of the thing, is the safety is one of our elements that we have to, and we generally will paint them red, but we could subdue the red by throwing a little brown into it and, make it not so
Yeah.
prevalent. That's just a
So
matter
red.
of toning,
More, yeah.
right, yeah.
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 Any other comments, commissioners, board members? David?
But I like the suggestion of comprehensively integrating it into the design line and make it part of that.
Okay.
And like Vanda said, maybe it's time that we reevaluate the design guidelines that were done in
I
204.
like the design
Yeah.
guidelines, but,
yeah.
it could be, perhaps it could be better. I don't know.
Correct.
Anyone for the audience like to speak? Do we have any speaker cards? No? Okay.
And I know the strategic plan, and I think Dave's on it there, was talking about, in our general plan, there are some photos and stuff that Cal Poly did, and we want to change those so that it's more emblematic of what we
Right,
like to see
yeah.
and develop here, and the committee's working on that now, and I've got a lot of architectural renderings that we can kind of incorporate onto that. And that's the same thing with the design guidelines.
Yeah,
We
that
see
was-
that we want what we would like to see down there and incorporate that into the pictorial elements of the design guidelines.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
Is this on? Yes. Caravanc, 609 3rd Street. And I just want to offer my support for Historic Resources Board review of the Historic District, things that are going to be happening down there, streetscape. And I think you probably do want to make a reference to it in the Historic Resources Board.
To the Historic Resources Preservation Ordinance, did you say?
In the ordinance, yes, giving the board authority
Okay, yeah.
to review those things.
Do you have a copy of this?
No, I don't.
Okay. At the end of the document, I have Historic Resources Board approval. Don't know where it should go.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you going to give me yours? Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And everything on this, I think everything on this document should be approved by the Historic Resources Board. I didn't put that everywhere because then it was getting to be too much.
But see, once you put it,
If
the
you-
reference as the Historical Review Board does this, and all streetscape items, that covers this. And then once it goes into the design guidelines, it's automatic.
Okay.
We do it.
And I think it should be maybe limited to the historic downtown streetscape.
No, I would say, since we're talking about this, we're going to be putting buku dollars for entryway monuments. So I think anything
And-
from
okay. So just,
Monterey Street through Mount Columny Street, all the way out to the Alameda and beyond.
okay, so streetscape guidelines.
Because that's where they see us first.
Well, one thing that's on here is light fixtures. The intent is to ensure that future lighting within the historic downtown district is consistent and appropriate for the area's historic resources, design character, and safety needs. The design, color, and placement of poles and fixtures in the public realm, as well as lighting on private property that is visible from the public way. Lighting levels and lighting quality must be appropriate for the downtown district, so we'd have to change that. So how much do we want to get into the residential area regarding lighting? I mean, if it's,
Well, I think ultimately you have each subdivision and each project and design review.
Yeah.
You have that authority to review to make
but what
sure that
about
it's
old
consistent.
projects?
Well,
I mean, if they're,
They're grandfathered in,
they're
but
grandfathered
unless
in,
they're
if they come in for
the dark
something,
sky.
if they come in for something new, you can look at that permit and add to it.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can use moral suasion and say, look, you're the only guy that hasn't done this and this, everybody's complied. We'd sure appreciate it if you would support us.
But if it's a violation of the dark sky ordinance, that would be different.
Automatic, we got it.
Yeah, yeah. And with that in mind is that you have to balance what's regulated by safety, OSHA, and laws, as well as the design criteria. So there's a fine line
Yeah.
where sometimes you have to say, wait a minute, now we can't do that because that violates some safety regulations,
Okay.
Mhm.
Any other comments from the public? Okay, well,
Where do we want this to go? Do you want to discuss it again?
yeah,
Now that you've got it out,
yeah.
we didn't have a lot of time to look over it.
Action item.
No, I didn't. It's a
I thought we made it an action item.
It's a discussion.
We weren't ready. I wasn't
Oh,
ready.
okay, all right.
No,
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair.
So we're still discussing this.
yeah, so my thought was if we, now that this is out, the commission has another meeting to just look it over, but you can also make this available to the San Juan Committee and say, hey, guys,
Okay.
you want people to come down to downtown, help us make this work.
And maybe it could be posted on the website as a draft, and people can comment.
Yeah.
But I think anything in the commercial districts ought to go through that San Juan Committee formally,
Yeah.
So here's officially, the commission sends it to, and we'd like your comments at the next meeting. So nobody can say they didn't know.
Okay.
That's all.
Good idea, good idea. Yes,
Richard Ponce, San Bautista. I think we're kind of getting what the San Juan Committee does. I think it's kind of overlapping too much. What we do, we promote the city, but we don't regulate or create or create.
No, I'm looking for,
Yeah.
not for you to regulate, not for you to try and take over, but to say,
Have
the
input.
city's coming, the commission has a proposal to make the area look better, which would attract more people to the area.
Correct.
So, we asked the business people, what do you guys think? If they can't live with it, I don't want it to be appealed at the city council level. So let's do all our laundry out here, and so if the folks can't live with it, they got to tell us.
What committee are you talking about? Which committee?
Oh,
You got the
the
strategic
San
planning
Juan,
committee?
no, I'm talking about San Juan Committee.
Well, what happened to strategic planning committee?
but they're merchants.
But I'm strictly dealing with merchants right now. The strategic planning committee, I don't know what their function is, but I do know what the planning commission and the HRB is.
But you're right, I think
The
strategic
official
planning should look at it,
representative of
too.
the city is the commission.
I think the strategic.
I have no problem sending it out to them, but
The
let's face it,
strategic-
we are the
strategic
city.
planning the planning committee is strictly the implementation of the general plan and how you're going to achieve that objective.
I'm not sure it applies in the strategic plan.
Ultimately, if your goal is to improve downtown and get more people to be in there, see, it's an ancillary thing.
Well, no, I mean, again, the input
Input,
the input might be nice.
Yeah, we can
But I'm
certainly
not-
input.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we should be doing the job of.
No.
the planner
No,
and
but-
store.
No,
We're
that's
always-
not it,
yeah.
and it's important that you
Because we
understand
got our
that.
hands full.
Right.
No, but bottom line is, your mission is to try and get more people to come downtown.
Promote the town no matter what condition it is.
Right.
That is
And
our-
we're trying to improve this thing, basically to go on your back to bring more people in here because it looks neat, or it's a better sign to come into the town to see.
Yeah, we're all on the same page, but
Right.
we just got to make
But
sure that
if
we
you don't-
overload ourselves.
But if the committee, if the San Juan committee does not want referrals from the planning commission, just tell us.
But then don't tell us after the fact.
No.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. How many years has it been that your body, or the previous bodies, the chamber, has been bypassed?
Right.
It bothers me that the city's bypassed by the county, but I don't want to have our own people supporting on the same team being bypassed, and all of a sudden it goes to the city council on appeals. Wait a minute, why are you appealing this? And you say, well, you never told us.
There is another group, the San Juan Merchant Group, that meets pretty often, and we've tried to get them to, in fact, we have had them here at meetings.
Is
to
that
discuss
the
with downtown.
lowest?
That might be another one to reach out to.
Which would be the appropriate one to send to?
Probably, we will discuss, I'll bring this up at our next meeting, but it might be a good idea to also get a hold of the San Juan Merchant Group and
Who heads that, or who's the spokesperson? Is that Lois?
Lois.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, then we'll bring it back for discussion next month,
Next meeting?
and then action after that, so.
So one more month of discussion
Yeah.
Yeah, because,
and research?
yeah, please.
Because like I said, if the merchants have something they want to put out, I want to know about it.
And each commissioner should dig out their design guidelines and then go through that, see how it integrates with that.
Look for conflicts, look for places we need to beef it
Things that
up.
we might have missed,
Yeah, especially what we missed.
yeah. Okay. Then, we'll move on to, we can still go back to 4B.
Yes.
Okay, I see that Mr. Serta is here, so we'll go back to action item 4B, which is to discuss the covered patio eating area in the plaza.
Start with the staff.
Do we want to start with staff, or
Yeah,
with
Mr.
the
Serta's in the
applicant?
audience.
I say just have the applicant
Applicant,
tell us what
okay.
they want to do.
Would you like to
That's
come up,
the
Mr. Serta, and Ms. Serta?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi,
Hi.
sorry for being late.
What is your name?
Vidi?
How do you spell it?
V-I-R-I.
Okay, and you're
I'm
Mr.
his
Serta's
daughter.
daughter, okay. Okay, so we understand that you are proposing a structure, just for the audience's benefit. This is
Tell us
a,
about it.
yeah, tell us what you want to
Tell them
do.
what let them tell us what they want to do.
¿Qué digas qué es lo que quieres hacer ahí?
It was just, this would be like an open bar to eating area. They can use it for eating area or for people. And I think it's one of my dreams to do something like that.
Uh-huh.
Just so
Because I
that
think
people
people can enjoy it.
could eat whether outside, whether it's raining or whatever the weather may be.
So this is open, this is open, this is open?
Yes.
Yes.
And
All the
this,
way around mostly this, just you know, it's going to be covered with everything for the inside, big wood.
uh-huh. It's hard to tell, really. I can't visualize what it will look like. It doesn't look like a barn. Will the roof be angled, or?
One roof's gonna be like this, another roof's gonna be like this. Looking up the side.
Oh, so
They're not gonna go like this.
Okay,
One higher,
Yeah.
it'll be lower like this.
okay.
they'll be offset,
Yeah.
covered but offset.
These are ventilations up on top.
And food court, are people going to buy food here?
No.
Okay, just eat JJ's or perhaps?
No, there's just gonna be like seats and tables outside.
Okay.
Just so that people can come in and
Oh, and have a
sit down.
picnic maybe?
Yeah.
Or- Okay.
I see these openings there, it says 4'8".
Yeah.
I saw that.
That's
Kind of visualize what that would be.
The openings on the two big openings are only
Here
4
and
foot 8
here.
high. That you show you.
¿Cómo va a estar de abierto?
I think it's gonna be open like, I say, 5 feet or
Yeah,
6
4
feet.
foot, 4 foot.
We work either way, the way you are, you can go.
We could go higher, or
You know,
Why do you have it so low?
que por qué lo tienes tan bajo?
abajo.
Ajá.
Para proteger el sol, to protect the sun and
Sunshade.
the wind. And then we can put plants like outside, like couple plantas,
Well, we could decorate it with plants and stuff.
ollas grandes,
Yeah.
paths.
How long and how wide is the building?
I think it's what, 20, what's it have the size?
You know,
I
maybe
think
it's
it's
on-
what, 22 by 41 or 42.
32 by 21?
No,
22.
21 right, or 22 by 46 or something.
See, that takes up that whole,
Takes up that whole
I think,
section.
Mr. Roger, you don't have plans?
Perhaps the applicant should prepare a site plan to show the relationship between J&J Burgers and the brewery, and then he has the front elevation, is the side elevations in the rear.
so what happens there, they're gonna have to tear all the concrete out they put in now to build this, for foundations, level your slab depth, change the water pattern.
You know, we worked long and hard with the applicants to make
And then
this
you're
the
gonna
original
block
project.
off the view across. the
Yeah,
property.
how tall?
16 feet.
16 feet.
16 feet to the top of the eave. And it's 32 feet long by 24 foot wide.
How tall is the current building? How tall is the current building?
The
brewery
brewery?
itself.
The brewery is about 30 feet,
Tall.
Tall?
with a 6 and 12 pitch. It's almost 30 feet.
Is it really? Wow.
26 feet to the
Yeah,
peak.
26.
Who knew?
David, any comments?
In looking at this particular setup that we are looking at right here, I'd rather stay with the original design. Keep it open. That's
Or build a trellis like.
because you're going to be changing. You're going to be changing the whole front of that third street,
Right.
which is going to be not what it was originally intended to be. So I'm not too enthused about seeing this being built.
I think too, there's...
I mean, it can be done, I understand that, but I think it's going to take away from the brewery, it's going to take away from the openness of that area, which I was looking forward to.
And then you're gonna.
You know, which is kind of piggybacks on what JJ's got going.
And then have to be fire sprinkled in the whole hall.
Right.
And new foundations, all that concrete will have to come out, re-leveled and all
It-
that stuff.
And it kind of, this is my impression, when I see this, well, it's nice that that's what let's say we go with this. Well, I can just see this thing changing in the future. To all of a sudden, it's going to be closed in,
It's
you're going to
very
put in
windy.
some new
Kitchen.
offices in there. I understand, we need to look at the future and things like that. But I'm thinking about downtown and keeping it to the historical district, making it look the
Because
way
in the back, we already
it was intended to be.
approved him to build 2 apartments on top and some rentals on the bottom.
Yeah,
Commercials, yeah.
but that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I too think that there's so many other issues that remain to be done. I'd rather see those go forth.
Well, I
Before we
think that's
discuss.
immaterial right now. Bottom line is, I can't support this. We spent an awful lot of time working with that brewery building and moving it, relocating it, saving all the parts for all this open area. And had you been thinking about this at that time, that would have been included in our thinking. But our thinking did not include this. It was not proposed. We had this open area so people could go back and forth, eat there, and have that building in the historical district. And also, we touched in the building in the back. All this was thought. Had you done this, you might not have gotten those buildings in the back. And so, all put together, I cannot support it.
I was under the impression that the last time the applicant was here that we were going with more of just a simple trellis type
We talked about that.
We talked about
When
it,
comes
yeah.
back to this.
This is a lot
This is a
more.
structure.
This
Yeah,
is more
this
of a
is building,
structure, and
yeah.
We're
I'm,
talking more of a trellis
Right.
type of deal like Hardin has.
I think that was our
Low profile,
recommendation.
Open.
But my concern with this is, I mean, in the future, this could be enclosed fairly easily, and that's not, I think, the intent of that area. I mean, when I go down there, I kind of like sitting outside and bring the dogs and have them sit down or whatever, and I'm not going to drag them inside. I mean, it's just my thing, but this just seems like it's.
This is a pretty big sized building if you look at it, 32 by 24.
Yep.
Can we change it and do something more simple? Maybe just put some tarps to create some shade?
Why can't we just stick to the original plan?
It's going to look a lot better when we have one cleaners on site, but it's not no place to sit there for eating outside.
Yep.
That would be a nice area for use it.
I think the original plan did include a place for people to sit with.
Yeah, but with no shade or anything.
Well, no, you put patio covered, picnic
And
umbrellas.
trusses or trellis in there and. I mean, we were all for the original plan, and we're just saying, why can't we just stick to that?
We spend a lot of time to make it work for you.
See, we had this problem too, because when we passed this, it's our first brick pavers, and now it's stamped concrete.
Yep.
Somewhere along the line it got changed without going through us. So.
Okay, so it's
That's a
just not
violation
gonna
of your
happen.
permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any comments from the public?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for coming up.
Actually, Georgiana first. Georgiana?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please wait until we talk. I know I'm talking. Oh, yeah, we're not going to be.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're not.
Georgiana Gallardi, 1 2nd Street. I probably have the most visible spot to observe this whole corner. I have several comments. I am pleased to hear all the remarks that you have made because I had a list similar to them. My questions were, and I think they've been answered, what happened to the planned second building? We still have that, and it's 2 stories on the back. We have always wanted open space, welcoming the historic district in that particular whole block has never had more than 1 or 2 buildings and a lot of open space, and that's our first block in town on the right-hand side where the monument's going to bring people in. I like the trellis idea. What the Vertigo has been doing down there is beautiful. We don't want exactly to match them because that wouldn't be fair, I don't think. If we were to ask them to put storyboards up for this building, can you imagine the outcry? And what we have learned since all of this transpired when I served on the Planning Commission, Mr. Franco has made us understand that we should have considered the whole parcel as a whole at the time of the initial presentation, and we would have then included JJ because that's all one ownership. So we would have had a better picture for the whole block. And I'm the one who made the motion, as I recall. I would never have made it with this addition to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard Ponce?
Richard Ponce, 93 4th Street, San Bautista. As you recall, I was probably the strongest supporter of this project. I think it turned out to be a very nice project. I don't think that another building there would complement the brewery. I think it would take away from it. And I like the way you're going. I think something like the coffee place would be appropriate. A simple covering would not take away from what's there now. The building is beautiful. When you come through town, they've done a beautiful job with the building. I think this would hurt what they've done so far. So I think they should stick to a simple trellis. And I think in the long run, they'll realize that that will be better than what they're trying to do. Anyway, I still support the project.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I have no other speaker cards down.
Since we're just talking about trellises now, I would want us to see the plans for trellis before it goes up. Just as I wish that we'd seen the fencing at JJ's.
That's a violation already.
Yeah.
If they do this, we'd like to have a layout of all the buildings with a trellis. The JJ's, the brewery, and the back building, and then the trellis. So we can look at it, see what's going on.
See the whole picture.
Agreed.
The whole picture of it.
Since it's single ownership, we should
Yeah.
we should
That way
have.
we know how far it's from each building.
Okay. Do we want to discuss the conditions that need to be met, or you've discussed them with?
No, I think, isn't that more of a staff thing?
Yeah.
Or do you need?
No, I think the direction there is that you'd like to proceed the way it was originally
Yeah.
approved. And the direction we have is that he would bring forth the trellis, which was approved, and how that interfaces with the 3 structures that are on the property. The approval was for the 2-story in the back, and we have some preliminary designs, but I'm sure it'll change, you know.
Will we be getting the trellis picture? That's part of the program?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then we will close that discussion and move on to comments from Historic Resources Board members. Those were discussion. Oh, well, that was an action item. So what do we want to do?
Refer to the plan.
Okay, so do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. And a vote?
First and second?
Yeah.
I move that the matter be referred to the Planning Commission.
And the views of the review, Historical Resource Board to be shared with the planning commission. Right?
Oh, automatic.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
Board Member Franco?
Aye.
Board Member Garrett?
Aye.
Board Member Maderas?
Aye.
Board Member Gretastoff?
Aye.
Chairman Rivera?
Aye.
All members of the board being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, comments from the Historic Resources Board. No? No? Nope.
None at this time.
Okay, I just wanted to add, since I'm part of the San Juan Bautista Historical Society, I want everyone to know that on October 10th, we'll be having an open house at Luck Park, but we want nonprofits to participate. It's a great opportunity to set up a table, promote your activities, recruit new members, soccer, Anzar football, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Little League, whatever it is. Get in touch with us. It was in the Mission Village Voice, and you can contact the City Hall.
You mentioned the park, the Lux Library.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the park.
Oh, Luck
We
Park.
have 2 parks, the
Okay.
Baruti Park
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
Happy
yeah.
Park.
Okay, so this will be at
I
Luck
just want
Park.
to make sure that
Yeah,
they
thank you,
understood that.
thank you. I'm very myopic sometimes. So anyway, we have done this for several years now. Every year we get more and more participation, but I just really hope that people will come out and get to know each other and meet neighbors and recruit members. And the other thing is the newspaper, the Mission Village Voice, really supports nonprofits and always wants to put things in the community bulletin board or on the calendar of events. So if you have an event that you would like to be publicized, send it to Ann Catano, or go online, look for missionvillagevoice.com, and you'll find a link. Okay, that's all I have to say.
That's it.
Okay. Staff? Okay.
And Rudy?
No.
Okay. Well,
Move to
then
adjourn.
I'll adjourn this meeting at, let's see, 6:54.
Okay. Welcome to the regular meeting of the San Juan Bautista City Planning Commission. This is the regular meeting of August 4, 2015. Call to order, roll call.
Yes, Randy DeVere.
Here.
Eric Gerdesoff.
Here.
Pat Garrett.
Here.
David Maderas.
Here.
Ernest Franco.
Here.
All present. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? If you do want to speak on an agenda item, please wait until the item comes up, and your comments will be closer to the action there. This would be for things you would like the commission to be aware of, things that are happening in the city that need to be looked at, or in general to tell us how good of a job we're doing. Whatever comes up to your mind, now would be the time. No cards? No step-ups? Okay, thank you. Do we have any informal project reviews?
None, Mr. Chair.
None tonight. Okay, we have consent agenda, approval of the affidavit of the posting agenda, and approval of the minutes of January 6, 2015.
Commissioner, we need to separate those,
Oh.
Okay,
if we could.
we'll take them one by one. Approve the affidavit of posting agenda.
I move that we approve that item.
Second?
Call for the vote.
Okay.
Commissioner DeVere.
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett. Commissioner Maderas.
Aye.
Commissioner Gerdesoff.
Aye.
Chairman Franco.
Aye.
All members of the commission being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay, then item 4B on the consent would be to approve the minutes for the January 6, 2015 meeting. We have comments apparently. Someone?
Oh, no, I just need to abstain, so I couldn't do them both together.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
Okay.
do we make a motion, or do we need to discuss?
Well, since we stopped it anyway,
I was here, but I wasn't here.
on page
neither was I.
3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, line 6, it starts with consensus of the planning commissioner. Make that change to commission. Other than that, I have no comments.
Page 3, line 6?
6.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't say which commissioner, so
I-
just call it the
yeah.
commission. Okay, I'll entertain action on that one.
Okay, I move that we accept the minutes for that meeting with the corrected item.
I'll second it.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner DeVere.
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett.
Aye.
Commissioner Maderas.
Aye.
Commissioner Gerdesoff.
Abstain?
Chairman Franco.
Oh, aye.
All members of the commission being present, the motion as stated by the speaker passes 4-1 with Commissioner Gerdesoff abstaining.
Okay, now we have section 5, action items. We have 3 of them. The first one, lot sizes for single-family residential districts. 1, consider a resolution recommending amendment to Chapter 110310 of the Muni Code, zoning districts, and then consider amending the zoning map for the R1 districts. Staff.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is a follow-up of the previous discussion at the last Plan Commission meeting where we talked about the inclusion of, in the R1 district, as a multitude of 7,000, 6,000, 5,000 square foot lots in the design of subdivisions, 20 lots or more, or of individual lots that are large, 10 to 15,000 square foot, that could come in for a lot division. And we kind of framed the section 11-04 of 010, the residential district, and we've included section A for single-family residential lots, and the coverage, the open space, single-family residentials, maximum site coverage, 53% of the lot. For smaller lots, the 5,000 square foot category, and that the zoning district of the R1 shall be a 7, 6, or a 5, depending on the Planning Commission's decision of Section F. And the subdivisions of 20 lots or more, up to 75% of the lots could be 7, maybe 7. And of the 6,000, they may be allowed up to 20%. It doesn't mean that they should be, it could be, you know. And on the 5,000 square foot maximum that may be allowed would be 10%. There's nothing to prohibit every subdivision from making them all 7,000. But what we wanted to do is to create a design diversity, so we have a multitude of lots that would give you a variation in sizes of homes that are some that are more affordable than the others. So we have a mixture of first-time home buyers that come into there that can afford it. And the development of the 20 lot or more subdivisions, that the frontage would be variable from 20 to 25 feet, so that we don't get all of the houses on a straight street all looking down to the same line. That you get more of a variation and a convolution of setbacks that'll give us a little bit more articulation in the front setback. And all zoning of the single family will fall into that category, but it would be also subject to the matrix that I've attached to the behind the resolution of 110310, which was the development standards and establishments of the setbacks, the floor area ratios, the building coverage, the maximum heights, front, side, and rear setbacks.
In your staff report, the last line of number F, two-story houses on lots of 5,000 square feet in size shall be discouraged.
And I had thought about that in the sense of prohibiting it or discouraging it. And
that was going to be my question.
Yeah.
We're making lots smaller. We're making them with houses that are more affordable. And the fact that the general is 7,000 square feet here. Do you want to have two-story houses on smaller lots, or do you want to limit that to one-story, and that way it will be within the price range that people are looking for? That's my thought was, I just picked it up off this. Shall not be permitted, as opposed to be discouraged. Discouraged is, well, yeah, thank you, we'll do it anyway.
Well, it
Thou
would have
shalt
to
not.
be reviewed.
But it'd have to be.
Yeah.
But it has to be approved. It has to go through your reviews.
Yeah.
And we decided that we were going to keep them single story over 5,000 square feet.
Okay, so let's make sure that comes up in the matrix, if that's what the commission wants to go.
Restricted?
What,
No,
Roger,
not permitted,
Not permitted.
yeah,
Roger, what,
5,000 square foot lot.
or smaller.
on a 5,000 square foot lot, then what would that limit a home?
1,500 square feet.
16?
Those layouts, those little plat maps that I gave you, generally on a 5,000 square foot lot, 5-yard setback on each side, you could probably put upwards of anywhere from 15 to 17, 1,800 square feet, depending on how you do it,
So
lot
a
coverage,
3-2, a comfy 3-2.
Yeah, right.
For
Spacious
first time, maybe.
2-2, 2-1.
So that's the whole point, not to put mansions on that thing that nobody can
Yeah.
afford,
Right.
but following to the housing element that says we're going to make housing available to folks, and this is one way of doing it.
So you would say may not be permitted?
Shall not
Shall not
be permitted.
And I think, Eric, the answer to that is if a 5,000 square foot lot and the maximum lot coverage or building coverage is 40%, that's 2,000 square feet.
Right.
And then you take a 400 square foot out of a garage, then the house is going to be 1,600 square
Okay.
feet. See?
Okay, that was just one point that we picked up there. Okay, if a person wants to split a lot, we're gonna, okay,
Yeah, it'd be 10,000.
do we have to reclassify that lot to an R15, an R17, an R15, R16?
Right now, it is 10,000 or 12,000 square foot is an R1 lot. And it will remain an R1 lot if you allow, say, a 12,000 square foot to split 2 sixes. And it meets all the criteria that you've got, this. And I've tried to dictate that on an individual basis, the neighborhood, the type of square footage of the house, the topographical features, the surrounding neighborhood, and it qualifies for all that.
But like I said,
And
if
you
you got a 5 and a 7, that's a 12,000 foot lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and right now it's zoned R17. We want to, are we going to create an R16 district, which means you reclassify your parcel into two different zoning districts?
The way I've structured it, it'll still be an R1, but an R15 is permitted in an R1 district. An R7 is permitted in it, an R6.
Okay, so basically we're talking lot size.
Lot size in the R1, right, yeah.
Okay, that wasn't my concerns. I don't know, I personally support the concept of diversity. I think that's needed. And I like the fact that we're going to have not a straight line front yards.
Yeah.
So that will give us some diversity in design. And then diversity in cost.
Right.
Yeah, cost range, yeah. So we have a lot going for it. I think this is
and I tried to,
innovative.
I tried to frame that in the 13 sub footnote of the matrix down there, and as you'll read on page 13, it just says is the Planning Commission may grant, you don't have to, you may grant an R1, 6 or 5 in any lot in an R1, but you're going to take into consideration a case-by-case basis, and you're going to consider topographical, surrounding neighborhood, design diversity, economic conditions, and housing needs. So you have at that fingertips all of the necessary tools to approve it or disapprove it.
This is revolutionary because usually you had an R15 district and 5,000-foot lots, R16. So this gives a lot of flexibility, again, to the commission. So it's important for the public to know what's happening. These will all be public hearings, because if garbage comes in, we don't blame the architect or the designer. We blame the commission for letting it in. So it's a major responsibility that you're accepting by going to a more flexible thing, which you won't find in too many cities.
And there's two schools of that you consider. The individual lots, 10,000, 11, 12, 15 in town. But then you flip on the other side, a guy wants to subdivide a big parcel and he has 30, 40 lots. Now you can incorporate that same concept in the design based on those criteria. We don't want all standard boxes, all the same size, and all in the same room. We want a little bit of design diversity so that we can entertain different types of economic people coming into it and different architectural styles.
This really supports the design guidelines, because today I found under site planning considerations, we want variation of development patterns, varied front yard setbacks, varied side yard setbacks, varied lot widths, varied garage placement and orientation. So we'll get all that with this.
And a new general plan.
And over the years that I've been around development is when I go into the older parts of town in San Juan as well as Hollister, Gilroy, there is a mixture of different homes in the old part of town that reflects what we're trying to do here. And I think that's great, that diversity. And I think that I don't like to see in a subdivision they all look the same, and it's just a matter of flipping the things and then making the exterior architecture a little bit different in terms of appendages and color and stuff.
Well, this was on page 6 of chapter 5, and it shows the varied site placements on the lots, so that they're not all a straight row when you look down the block.
Something different. I've driven to Gilroy.
It basically gives you more tools to deal with it when you get a subdivision.
Done a lot of driving through Gilroy, like you said, you know, the older neighborhoods. What makes them unique? Those trees that have been there for 100 years. There's probably no two houses the same in the older part of Gilroy. Everybody had a different design, but they're all, you can tell they're from a particular period. And it just does something. And this is what San Juan should have.
How about the public?
Having a new neighborhood look like it's
Been there forever.
been there forever.
Yeah, and that just expands San Juan Bautista. But remember, it used to be bigger than it is today.
Well, that's why they did a good job on that subdivision down there. You guys did, all the houses are different, but not all, just tract homes.
We were the biggest city on the east side of the Gavilan Mountains at one time, between San Francisco and Los Angeles. Okay. Looking at the draft resolution,
Should we have public comment?
oh, you know, that's not a bad idea.
Let's try that one.
I'm sorry, again, and that's why we have folks to keep track of me. Anybody in the public would like to comment on this? If you're a realtor, I'd like to hear your comments. If you're objecting to it, if you're supporting it. We come up with ideas, and we, like I said, we've done it in the past. We come up with a great idea, and then we get overturned. But it wasn't because we didn't try. So anybody would like to speak for or against this concept?
Caravon, 609 3rd. I support the concept. I think it would be great.
I hear a butt coming.
I would encourage you, though, to put garages at the rear of the lot, if that's possible, because that's always a problem with these big two-car garages. They take up the front of the house, and it's not welcoming. You know, the front door and the entryway, the front porch, that should be what's visible from the right-of-way. And you'll find that in older neighborhoods. My mom lives in Palo Alto, and you know, everything's a tear down there, and they're putting up very large two-story houses, especially in her neighborhood, and they're all allowed to put in a one-car garage at the very back of the lot, and that's what they encourage, to keep that old look, you know, neighborhood look, which you're also trying to promote. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's pretty hard to do that, because if your lot's 60 feet, you can't get to the back of your lot, not unless you have an alley. Then you can put your garage in the back.
Well, most of the standard lots are 50 by 100 feet, and so they're managing to do it. I don't know how, but...
Yeah,
Thank you.
I would think your setbacks would be...
To get a car back into there, is you need a minimum of 10, and more we like to have them 12-foot side yard setback, so you can get the garage back there. So you take 12 and 5, so you got basically 17 feet off of a 60-foot wide lot. So that is only going to make you 44 feet wide in the house. It can be done, you know, and there's a lot of them that we've done there, you know, it's just, you know, in front porches and little, you know, things and stuff.
I saw one with they came in the driveway, went all the way back, but it was diagonal into the house.
It can be done, but it's not very practical.
Well, what I've seen is if you go to some of these bigger places, the most exotic design feature is a garage door.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 5, 7 cars, whatever it amounts to. And I think design should be more than a garage
Should
door.
be a porch or...
And that's why our flexibility here, you know, is remember, if we don't like it, if the commission doesn't like it, you got to say so. And say, hey, might be good someplace else, but it's not good in San Juan. And we'll get what we want because we are so revolutionary in this new concept of flexibility that that's what we're giving. The other side's going to have to give quality of design. I mean, I think it's a big responsibility for the commission.
So you like your Roderick down, your house is going to be 40 foot wide, but it's also going to be 40 foot long.
Yeah, right. Now, when you get into the smaller lots, 5,000, if say you got a 50 by 100 foot, 5,000 square foot lot, that's a little bit tight to get a car into the backyard, you know.
The design guidelines even shows a garage in the back, a garage that's at an angle. I mean, there's so many possibilities that we can consider.
But again, it's lot by lot. On these older lots, it's one by one.
I think just the mere nature of the ordinance will get the designers to get a little bit more creative.
And I would think, you know, if you're a designer, you think differently. You're an artist.
Yeah.
And the only way you can practice your artistic abilities is through that flexibility. And if you can be flexible, then I think the ideas are just going to come out on paper.
And the design guideline says, in order to prevent garages from dominating the front of the house and to maintain traditional home building in San Juan Bautista, they should be variably placed, preferably in rear yards or oriented with a side entry. So there you have it.
More flexibility.
But the garage is usually 20 feet deep, 25 feet wide. So that takes up your whole backyard.
Well, the
It
realtor
always
was telling us
depends
people
on what
don't want
side lots
yards.
you got. I mean, they like that subdivision, they could design it and have to, they would have to make bigger lot sizes where they could get the garage in the back of it, or put alleys in the back, down in the back.
You know, some of this may be, this flexibility may be more effective with new developments. You know, we're going to do the best we can with somebody who wants to split something in the middle of town, and based on all our criteria, neighborhood size, types, footage, etc., it may or may not work. But they have the right to apply, but it better work. You take Mr. Fulton's project, if he was to do something, another project like that, this would be available to him. This is where it's going to work. I don't see a lot in the smaller ones. People who are there, probably going to stay there. Their descendants are going to do something. So, like I say, Monterey, the same thing. I lived in the Oak Grove district. Somebody died, and you knew when somebody died because the beautiful Victorians was leveled. And you got 4, 6, 8 units.
Yeah, I think Commissioner Franco's right. It really is going to give us the ability in the new subdivisions to really get the design diversity that we're talking about.
It'll also give people with those odd size lots.
Sometimes
Options.
it works, sometimes
Yep.
it won't.
Sometimes it will and sometimes it won't.
You had a comment, Carol?
I was just going to offer to bring you photos of this Palo Alto neighborhood, because they're 50 by 100 foot lots,
This will be,
and they've got one car garages at the back of it. It does take up part of the yard.
Yeah.
One car garage,
One car garages.
a lot of people have 3 cars.
You know,
this is the
and
problem.
this is Palo Alto. These are $2 million houses now.
But they,
Yeah.
You want that Mercedes, you know.
but I think you got to point out that Palo Alto has an infrastructure of transportation that we don't have down here.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You know,
Yeah.
that's baloney. Everything's got cars.
No, I know, but their
But we don't have
access to
trains.
Access
transit
to.
Yeah.
are much more available than down in the.
I have a 1 car garage.
How many trucks? How many trucks do you have?
We have a 2-car garage, and we keep 2 cars in our garage. That's unusual today. I think.
I haven't had a car in mine ever.
Okay.
Okay, we're looking at a resolution in here,
Well,
and I want to go to the
I
third.
have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One more question.
Sure.
The minimum agricultural size is 5 acres. And when we're talking about San Juan Bautista, and we're talking about agricultural land, the minimum is going to be 5 acres because why can't it be 10? Why can't it be 40?
And the
You wanna
county,
go?
they have,
I mean-
in the county, because it's larger land size, they have a 40-acre agricultural rangelands, you know,
Why are we staying with 5?
But that's just the minimum.
minimum.
Well,
You're also in the city limits.
is that what's best for San Juan?
What's the county right now?
AR zoning is 40 minimum,
40.
and 160 in South County, you know, and then they go down to a 5-acre, and then a rural transition is a 2.5-acre. And
I mean,
then they get into the subdivisions where they
Yeah,
have.
you're talking about saving our agricultural land. Why would you want to chop it up in 5 acres?
Wait, is this already in effect? Or is this
I mean,
5-acre
kind of
new, or is it already in the
Oh,
ordinance?
that's already
Yeah.
in effect, yeah.
Yeah, this
Well, the
already-
county.
Yeah,
It's
right.
already in the ordinance.
Yeah.
Within the city limit, is that what you're
Yeah, the
saying? or-
existing zoning is 5 acres right now.
Yeah, so, okay.
So
This-
if we want to
this-
change that one, we'd have to, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. This only affects R1 lands.
okay. So you won't have duplexes on R1
Are you
lots?
R1? You're R1.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're R1.
yeah, well,
The front half.
my,
Back half.
the
is
South
ag-
40
Yeah, the South 40. Yeah.
inches.
Okay. You had a question on paragraph 3, whereas?
Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
is there any other comments from the public? Okay, I'll close the public hearing of the public, and there'll be, from now on, it'll just be planning commission discussion. If we do this resolution on the third whereas, oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't, yeah, 6 and 3. we're talking about the goals, objectives, and programs of the 1998 general plan. I do not think we should be including the 2035 proposed because it is not in effect, and I would hate to have this thing be questioned because we were working on something that didn't exist. So I think
we just strike that from
the whole section for the proposed.
So get rid of goals and objectives of the proposed 2035?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, since it doesn't exist at this time, let's stick with what we've got, because that's what we're defending. Because if you had to go to court on this thing, you couldn't defend it on, well, look at the 2035 policies. Show me the plan. It doesn't exist. It has not been approved.
But
by
what
the
about
council.
when the 2035 is approved, and somebody could say, well, this doesn't address that?
No, this is the support.
We're done a year ago.
This is the support for approving this. That there is a plan with a housing element that says help. And everything after that is how we're going to help them.
Yeah, it's a good point, yeah. Legally, we're on firmer grounds.
Yeah, like I said, if there's a chance of taking out any possible places for people to trip us,
Yeah.
let's take
Well,
it out.
and if by chance this doesn't follow the 2035, you just go back and revise it, correct?
Yeah, everything can be amended, but at this point, that's what I've got in mind. So the question is now, do we have enough to work with, or do you want to have another hearing on it, do some more homework on it? What is the pleasure of the
We've
commission?
talked about it at 3 meetings. Is there anything that we haven't addressed that we need more information about? I don't think so.
I'm ready to go on this.
I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the chair will...
It's always going to be scary, but hey.
Wait till they come in.
Yeah.
Okay, the chair entertains a motion for action.
I move that we approve resolution 2015-25, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Juan Bautista recommending to the City Council amendment of the San Juan Bautista Municipal Code, Chapter 11-03-0110 zoning districts.
I second.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Yubir?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett?
Aye.
Commissioner Medeiros?
Aye.
Commissioner Gretastock?
Aye.
Commissioner Chairman Franco?
Aye.
All members of the commission being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay, this I think is a new era for San Juan Bautista. Forward thinking, thinking of the future with solid consideration of the past.
And we turn the page.
And we turn the page now to the next item on this agenda, which is consider request for revision to site and design approval at 104 the Alameda, the brewery, applicant Hipólito Cerda.
Did we need to do the map?
Is this
That
two
one?
separates?
Item 2?
Oh, hey.
That would be,
Okay, we have,
Backtrack.
did that resolution consider both of them?
we don't have a map.
Oh, consider amending?
Yeah,
Zone map?
that's part of the resolution to amend
That we already, we mentioned that
the
already.
matrix, yeah.
Yeah, recommending that
Amendment of the 70 municipal code,
amendment
chapter
of the San Juan
1103.
Bautista code already.
And that was in the
Yeah,
resolution?
that's
Yeah,
in the
that's,
resolution.
that was in your statement.
Okay,
So the so the
So
zoning map is
incorporated
part of
both.
that.
Yeah.
never mind.
Okay,
Yes.
so we're good on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have a considered request for Hipólito Cerda for the brewery project. Okay, how do we want to start this one? Do you want to have the applicant make a presentation to start with, for the record?
I think they have.
No, that was for the,
For the
that was another body.
For
Because
the-
the
for
records
this
of the
record,
plan,
yeah.
the records of the planning commission have to be real clear on this one.
Okay, then yes.
This one could go the route. Okay, Mr. Cerda, we'd like you to come up and make your presentation as to what you want to do. This is a different organization. This is the planning commission. This is the body that's going to approve or deny. So please come up, and we're going to, it's just a full-fledged hearing. Gives you a chance.
Pretend like we didn't discuss it.
Yeah, just pretend like you did, we didn't discuss this before. The historical board has routed this.
They're a little confused, I'm sorry.
No,
it's
the
okay.
historical review board was reviewing and making a recommendation, and the recommendation was that the planning commission consider.
Okay,
So we can, if the other board had said no or hold up, we wouldn't be here.
okay.
So it was forwarded now. Anything that happens now would be an action that would be binding.
Okay.
So for the record.
Thank you so much.
Well, he basically wanted to do like a covered structure connecting JJ's to the brewery so that people could sit outside whether it's raining or whatever the case may be with the weather. I'm sorry, I don't have a picture of the...
Oh, well.
I could take some better pictures if you like.
So now,
If there's any solutions.
is it really connecting the two different buildings?
We could
or-
do something way more simple than that.
Yeah.
Just, we just want to cover the top basically.
I think that one should be, look, because we can decorate it to hang in all empty things on around the wall. And I think the people can, it's a city,
Just,
that way people can see it. And the steel is going to look antique for the inside.
Then it would be appropriate for him to
He still wants to build
change
a,
the plans and come with a proposal to show what his vision is of that, yeah.
Can I just get a quick point of clarification, because I wasn't on the commission or
original.
the board at the time. What, can someone describe to me, and because I hadn't seen the pictures either, what has been approved between the brewery and JJ's right now?
It was an open plaza.
Okay.
They had really 4 pedestals there with trees, but it was just an open plaza with
Okay, so
pavers.
no trellis, no
No structure.
simple
Trellis was at
something or other?
Thinking of-
Trellis was at
Would've
the
been
entrance
tables
to the
with umbrellas
courtyard
Yeah.
and what have
from the
And
Alameda.
trees.
Okay, got it.
supposed to be open space with trees planted, landscape,
Okay,
and then in the back, it's the two-story building on the backside next to the little house.
that has not been built
Behind
yet.
brewery.
Has not been built yet.
That's not even
It's not built
come
yet.
forward yet.
so we spent a lot of time thinking about it, working with them to get just the right mix of everything.
Okay,
And all of a sudden, we
yeah,
have a change.
To
request.
save him a lot of time and energy, we just gotta tell him that we don't want no peak building. Either it's gonna be a trellis, because he's wasting his time and money, because we're not gonna approve it for going in between it. I mean,
Well, let's take, you want to vote on this, or?
well, I think we should give him feedback in an official capacity.
Well, it's an action
It's
item.
called
Oh.
the discussion, it's called the discussion.
Yeah,
before the vote.
Sorry,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to say on this?
Doesn't matter if you don't approve it or.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out if we have anybody in the public who wants to speak also. Okay, anybody in the public who would like to speak? Do you have a, would you come forward, please, and fill out a form from our clerk?
His name.
My name's Rosa Dare.
Thank you.
I'm from Latin heritage. I come from Guatemala, and we're used to seeing what they're attempting to put in San Juan Bautista. I'm sure you're familiar with Jardines or Doña Esther's, they're back, and that's what we're used to. That kind of culture is very beautiful to the Latin people, and it brings home to us. And that is what San Juan Bautista is really about. I know that the structures are old, and I'm very fond of those structures also. But I like the Latin look, and I know many people that are in my neighborhood and who I talk to that come to San Juan Bautista because they like the Latin atmosphere that many of these buildings represent. I say let them put up their Latin look, that canopy that brings in home. And you know as well as I do, I don't like sitting out in a patio area where where all the wind is blowing my hair everywhere, my glasses are flying everywhere, the food and the birds are pooping all over everything. I want a covered structure. And I think what these people have done is very beautiful, and JJ and all that area is, they've put a lot of money into it, and I think it can be done really well. I think they can work with you guys. And I think you guys have a lot of opinions too, and I think we should all work together.
That's what we're trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other speakers?
I disagree. I don't think we're in the Latin country. I think the original plan, excuse me? Yes. You had your turn.
No. Address the commission, please. Thank you.
Anyway, yeah. I think all of this was hashed out when we got his first approval, and they, I'm sure, know that I was very supportive of the project, okay? And I was supportive of what they presented initially. And I think this is creating another building, so to speak. I think a covered patio would be perfect. Don Esteves has a covered patio.
Jardines.
Jardines has a covered patio, and they're great. I don't like the idea of enclosing it. I think the original plan was great. I think if you close it, you're going to block that beautiful building that they saved for us. And I think they're better off just leave it open. Outdoor dining is the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other speakers?
I have no questions.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing part for the commissioners. Commissioner, we have a chance to discuss this and to vote on what is presented to us. Rather than to drag it on and say, maybe you do this, maybe do that, say you do or you do not want the red picture. And then it's up to the applicant to do something different. But at this point, we could be moderating this, we could be modifying this thing for days, months. And we have there's a lot of other things that have to be done before even this is considered.
Yeah, correct.
So I would say, get your thoughts before we do anything.
Yeah, I think this is going to be far too much. I go on the record, and the Planning Commission is saying that my worry is that down the road, this is going to become more of an enclosed. I think, again, something similar with a trellis, perhaps get grown in with vines at some point.
Something similar to Jardines.
Something similar to Jardines, something similar to Don Esteves that's a little more simple and gives more of a flow through, filtered sunlight style thing, but I can't see approving this type of structure.
I go along with what he said.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that the developer, the applicant, is willing to go with the original plan that we set out to do. And I think he was encouraged to go this route, which is fine on his part, but I think he's equally encouraged or feels willing to help the city to stick to the original plan too as well. So I think with that being said, that the original plan is what we voted on in the very beginning, and that's what we should stick to. And I think that it will complement the whole area plus the other businesses in that area too as well. So when it comes to the cafe, when it comes to Jardines, or any one of the restaurants there. So it's like foot traffic, kind of a open air place to be at, and when it comes to downtown and what have you. And I think that is where we need to go with that. And I believe our applicant is willing to do that too as well. I know there's some other ideas he's trying to throw in here, but I think we're okay where we're at. We just need to continue with that.
The original plan, like I said, is spent a lot of time, effort, working out the perfect mix, and we had the openness. And if you look at Jardines de San Juan, I don't think it's a structure. I think it's a bunch of umbrellas that are put together that give
it's a little bit of everything.
That gives that Latin American, and I saw the same thing in Poland. People have all these umbrellas out there.
Yeah.
And that's one. So that's my position on it. Okay, any other comments?
And I think we'd like to see if something does come up, we'd like to see a drawing that
Yeah.
includes
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
We have to
all the
consider,
buildings.
all property under single ownership should be shown on any project, any proposal. And I noticed that there is an awful lot of outstanding conditions, and it is important for the applicant to understand that if it comes to a vote, all that rock work could be torn out, because you weren't approved for the stamped concrete, you were approved for what, brick or tiles? Pavers. So do not violate any of the conditions of approval. If you want to make a change on a condition, you have to come before the commission.
I think there was a misunderstanding, you didn't do it intentionally.
Well, no, that doesn't matter. The end product is, it's a violation.
I understand that, but it wasn't intentional.
Well, like I said, you know, the commission can order violations torn out. And I'm not going to get into that right now. So, there being no other comments from the commission, the chair entertains a motion for action. And the action would be to approve or deny the proposal.
I move we deny this particular proposal.
The request?
The request.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Call for the vote?
Commissioner Yber?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett?
Aye.
Commissioner Madera?
Aye.
Commissioner Gratosaw?
Aye.
Chairman Franco?
Aye.
All members of the commission being present, the motion is stated by the maker, passes unanimously.
Okay, the next one. Consider the approval of Resolution 2015 something approving an initial study and negative declaration for a covered bus waiting structure at Abbey Park. Staff, you want to tell us what this is all about?
Ready? Go ahead, yeah, please.
So the local transportation agency came to us in early July regarding a grant that they had applied for in September of 2013, which they recently received funds for. So this particular funding or this grant was aimed for the current Abbey bus stop shelter, or the bus stop shelter at Abbey Park. What the grant is for is to modify it and upgrade it to put in some double pane glass windows to stop from the elements coming in for the people using the bus stop, also putting in some benches and some lighting as well. So we're bringing it to council to get approved today. Oh, and other improvements.
Commission.
Oh, yeah, commission. Sorry
Yeah,
about
okay.
that. And other improvements are going to be. We're going to extend the sidewalk from the bus stop shelter all the way to the end of what I may believe might be Polk. Oh yeah, the Polk side.
Fifth Street. Fifth
Yeah,
Street.
yeah,
So
Fifth
you'll
Street.
be taking out this shed or whatever it is?
No, the shade will remain there, I
Okay.
believe, but we're just gonna
Are you gonna
extend
move-
the sidewalk.
And you're going to move the gate?
Well, the gate, I think we're gonna have some type of a driveway leading up, so that way our public works guys can get in there and perform work when
I
needed.
thought I understood that this was going to be moved, no, the driveway was going to be closer, the driveway's going to be closer to Polk and...
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, the driveway will be between the equipment shed and the
Okay.
covered area.
okay, because,
Yeah, right, because that's the only access for vehicles to get into the Abbey Park grounds, yeah.
so the current structure is 30 feet, which is what you're proposing.
That is correct.
So it's pretty much the same.
And the glass wall will be on the ball field side and the bathroom side, and the
Oh.
two other sides on the Polk side and the 4th Street side will be open.
Okay,
The curb and gutter will be extended from the return at the 4th Street all the way to the bathroom there at the existing bathroom. And the sidewalk then will come, and as soon as it gets to the west end of the covered there, then it will veer off and then go to the back of the restroom where the existing sidewalk is, right next to the fence in the ball field.
Yeah, but how come we can't move that over there by the new bathrooms? And tear some of them buildings down on that ballpark, because that's a mess right down through there.
Move
All them
what?
buildings, move this bus stop over to the new restrooms. Let the buses come right in there.
And move it where?
You know where the new bathrooms are?
On
Oh, yeah.
McCollum,
On-
yeah.
On the McCollum, yeah.
On
Yeah.
McCollum, yeah.
And then take some of them buildings out because it looks terrible the way they got that, all them buildings lined up on that
Well,
street.
they probably still need a bathroom right by the ball field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
a big deal?
With the grant money, that it's finite, and we balanced it off of what we could do with that grant money, moving it would be considerably more, and I think it would be outside the,
So you're gonna use the same slab, you're just gonna put it in
yeah,
the building.
right, yeah,
And that's going to cost 46,000?
yeah.
Gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. We've done an engineering estimate for the curb, gutter,
It's
sidewalk.
very good wood.
And the glazing and the framing, as well as the electrical needs, and it was right around $43,000.
Now, this includes curb, gutter, and sidewalk?
Yeah. And
also
handicap
the street.
ramps.
The street's
Handicap
pretty
ramp.
bad in front of that thing because it's undermined and the
Yeah.
trucks and everything has torn it
Are
out.
they gonna put the concrete? in-
Curb
Is that-
gutter all the way up.
No, there's no going to be concrete there. It's going to be curb, gutter, and asphalt in the street, curb and gutter and sidewalk at the face of the curb, and, yeah.
We're talking these
Did you see the plan?
buses of sort, yeah, I saw the
You see the
plan.
plan, yeah,
I guess
right.
my experience has been
Yeah.
that when
Do
you,
you want to see the,
And on 4th Street there, going west, you have a curb, gutter, and sidewalk, then a driveway, and then curb, gutter, and sidewalk in front of the covered area. Then it veers off, and it'll go to the back of the restroom where the sidewalk is, and then the curb will continue and then meet the existing curb about midway through the bathroom.
no, I guess my only concern was these are buses that are stopping in there.
County
And-
Express, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, they're not
Not
buses,
huge, yeah.
buses.
The
Yeah.
public transit buses.
And what
The asphalt-
what the long-term effects on the
Yeah.
asphalt, 'cause I know that.
The asphalt there is going to be 3.5 on 12. It's for the extra wheel load.
Okay,
Now, when you see bus stops in the metropolitan area where there are buses every 20 minutes coming there, they do those in concrete
okay.
because of the repetitive wheel loads. Here, the bus comes in twice a day.
So it's been addressed, it's just not gonna be,
Yeah,
right, muni
exactly.
type.
You're just gonna put a, 6-foot asphalt,
8 feet wide.
8 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And glass,
It'll be tempered glass, 1/4-inch plate.
so it won't be easy for kids to break, or, okay.
It's not gonna.
Tempered glass is pretty sturdy, yeah, right.
Scratch proof.
If you have a diamond ring, yes.
Today's kids.
Anything is possible, man.
Okay, my only concern was to make sure that it was going to have the curb, gutter, and sidewalk, because I couldn't see putting anything in there.
Yeah.
It was nice without fixing the place up.
Yeah.
Right. And that's long overdue. It should have been done when they put the first thing in.
Yeah.
But
And a lot of people use that bus stop, I see them.
Yeah.
in the
I
morning.
see one of them goes to Gaviland
Yeah,
from there.
yeah.
And then the school bus lets them off.
The 4 pipe bullets that are in front will be removed. You know, the pipe bullets were in there strictly to keep somebody from running into the covered area. They will be removed.
Because of the curb.
Curb, yeah.
Well, if they're going to paint it red, tell them to
And there's gonna be benches in there.
Tone it down.
tone it down. Yeah, you might tell them that. Take care of that? Okay. Like I said, you don't get it unless you ask for it. And if we don't ask, then we don't blame anybody but ourselves for not asking and accepting anything that's pushed at us.
I have public comments.
Okay, public comment.
Cora Blanc?
Thank you, members
You're
of
lucky name
the
tonight.
Planning Commission. Carvunk, 609 3rd Street. I'm just wondering, I didn't see anything in the binder, maybe I missed it. Do you have design options for this bus waiting structure? Because this could be like the garbage cans, you know, there are a range of designs.
That's,
I think the design option is that there is 6 poles and a roof area framed, and we're just going to frame in 2 walls and put glazing on it so that it'll be weather tight so the kids can sit in there during the winter.
Oh, so we are using the
That-
existing
yeah.
structure?
Yeah, right. The structure already exists there.
I see.
Yeah.
Because I know there are lots of variations on bus stop
We can
structures.
put tile on a roof.
And some might be more attractive than others, and the benches as well.
Mission tile on a roof.
And then, did you say handicap ramp? Does that
Yes,
mean,
there will be a handicap ramp.
does that
There-
mean bumps, little bumps?
Yeah.
And is this going to be tan or gray?
The tactile will be conformed to the ADA requirements.
Yes, but ADA requirements, you can have a whole range of colors.
Yeah, well, I think the two on the corner are yellow. And we'll probably keep this yellow. 'Cause
Well,
it is-
I object to
it is-
yellow.
I know, it is, but it is school-oriented for the students. And I think that's where we would draw the line is that, yeah, when pedestrian there, but when you deal with children and schools, I think that you would err on the caution side to make it yellow.
Well, I would urge the Planning Commission to take a closer look at the whole design of this thing. And because we've been talking, this is a similar issue that we've been talking about,
Yeah, no.
like what's happening in the downtown Abbey Park. I suggest you take a close look at the design and make your decisions. Thank you.
I know that people who go to Gavilan, I know employees who work at Gavilan. I think I've seen high school students. I have not seen children, but I don't know. Children don't board there, do they? Just San Juan School?
I've seen some young kids that are in grade school.
I've seen the elementary school buses stop there.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other public comments? Okay, I'll close the public part and we'll get the commissioners talking.
Okay, we have another speaker.
Oh,
I wanted to make one, but I can't fill out.
That's okay.
the form.
That's okay.
Yeah, the only thing I would like to suggest is that somehow we put a trash container there. Because everybody seems to throw everything on the ground there.
that's a good point.
It's not in the design, but I would appreciate one.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of trash between the bathroom and the bus stop. I don't know why.
Two elements that we have not included in the design here. This is for the grant and that is the benches inside underneath the covered area.
Yeah.
As well as trash enclosures.
Oh, so it is included.
It's going to be.
This is all going to be up to standard for the bus company, right?
That's
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That raises, what kind of trash can is it going to be?
That's, I was thinking of maybe wine barrels.
How about plastic?
Not sure.
Okay, commissioners. Any last comments before we call for a vote?
I think it's needed.
I don't see why we can't try a different color tactile paving in that spot.
You can do it by making marks in the concrete like they used to do. There's marks every 2 inches. And they do it with a trowel, and it's all gray concrete.
But is that ADA compliant?
Yeah. They come out with this stuff. They tried this in Gilroy with these yellow ones, and the kids were falling down on their skateboards, so they took a lot of them out. But the ones that they used to do, they still do it, as Roger knows, they make lines in the concrete. And it does the same purpose.
We'll explore that with the EDA guidelines, yeah.
I hadn't thought about skateboards.
So who will do the construction? Who will be in charge of this project? The city?
is,
Okay.
yeah.
And who's the environmental coordinator?
The environmental coordinator?
Yeah.
That is Rudy right now.
Okay.
Are they putting extra lighting on this too, Roger, inside that?
We were not going to put lighting inside the structure. It was going to be on the bathroom, you know. Because that's where the electricity is.
I thought there was going to be.
I thought it
was going to be.
I was under the impression it was going to be inside the...
No, it's not, no.
Oh,
There's no electricity in there. The electricity is on the restroom there and the block wall and we were going to put a light on that.
So you're gonna run a conduit over to the building? No.
No,
So there won't be no electricity? in
no
it?
electricity to the building.
So the lighting will go on the
The rest
the
next to
east-facing wall of the bathroom?
Yes.
There's no street lighting on that street either, is there?
Yeah, there's one in the corner.
Way up on the...
Yeah,
this-
right,
yeah.
on the 4th Street.
Okay, any thoughts?
That's it.
Chair entertains the motion for action.
Well, I move that we,
Approve the resolution?
that we approve Resolution 2015-26, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Juan Bautista approving the transit security improvements project for the bus stop shelter at Abbey Park, but also exploring the other options for ADA compliance.
Yeah, I think we need to, if there's an environmental issue, I think you're going to have to read at least the third whereas. But you might want to read the whole thing because we put down the item itself is request for review and approval for this thing, and it has to be found exempt from CEQA.
Doesn't say that, in the second
Number 2.
paragraph, it says that the preliminary determination of
Oh, there you
project is
go. Okay.
exempt
Yeah.
in the California pursuant to 1561B. Yeah.
Okay, I just saw the preliminary. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments you want to put on that?
I thought the motion was already made.
Motion, is there a second?
Yeah.
Call for the vote?
Commissioner Guevara?
Aye, with the condition that we explore the ADA compliance options.
Commissioner Garrett?
Aye.
Commissioner Maderas?
Aye, with the same
Commissioner Gressel?
conditions I agree with the conditions that we requested.
Commissioner Bradshaw?
Aye, with the same conditions.
Commissioner Sherman Franco?
Aye. Aye.
Sorry. All members of the commission being present, the motion is stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay. Busy night tonight, folks. Okay, so that was C. Okay, we have some discussion items. Harvey's lockup, compliance. Staff.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Dare is in the audience here, and I've invited him to come to the commission and speak. He's made some good progress on developing the fire sprinkler system, and I'll have him come up.
Steve Adair, San Juan Bautista. As far as compliance goes, we have, about a month ago, about the time of your last council meeting, we installed the sidewalk from Monterey to Church Street on the 3rd Street side. Goes all the way down to the handicap ramp. And I heard from the, we've been in contract with the AB Fire Protection Company out of Salinas since February. We gave them the job. And I heard from the owner today that they're starting installation tomorrow morning. I have a letter here confirming that. So that's kind of where we're at.
What's the timeline on that installation?
I don't know that. I just know they're starting tomorrow. He has, the fabrication shops have been running 6 weeks behind. Sorry for any delays. We will push to complete ASAP, so.
How many phases are in the...
3.
3, okay.
This is the, what is this street
Second.
here?
Second Street.
Yeah.
Second, this is the second, the building that's on 2nd Street in Monterey,
Okay.
which is probably the biggest portion of of the Harvey's lockout.
I think they said in the report there were 3 to 4 weeks to be complete, and then the fire department will look at it and pass it, right?
Right.
That's what they come up with.
So you have one tenant or two? How many apartments are there?
Just one.
Just one. And does that have the firewall?
Yes.
Okay. Does it have sprinklers?
No, it doesn't have, nothing has sprinklers.
Okay. So that will be part of...
That'll be part of the phase 1.
Okay.
So you have one living unit, it's rented out now, or somebody's living on the premises?
Right, upstairs.
Okay.
It was a caretaker's apartment. It's always been occupied
Okay.
forever. Before we even purchased the property, it was occupied.
Okay, anything else you want to hear?
Next question is, the signs on the building, they were supposed to, the temporary ones, they were only supposed to be up part of the time, but they've been up all the time?
I never understood that.
That's the side
Banners, yeah.
Yeah. The cloth ones have to come down.
Okay, we'll take the cloth ones down and we'll put up a permanent one.
Well, you've gone through the sign permit process, so you need
Yes.
to review what you were allowed
Yes.
to put up.
And the sign is based upon square footage of the building.
Right.
So we have plenty of square footage on either side. I'll take those signs down, those banners down, and I'll put up a permanent,
Okay, well, I think
permanent
just
structure.
check it with Roger to be sure.
I already
Okay.
have.
Okay.
We don't have any problems doing that, you know? We're trying to work with you with as much money as we can do. We're trying to run as fast as we can. This is costing us a ton of money. We've had nothing but issues with the building. We had a major sewer problem for 5-6 years that cost me over $20,000. We just got that rectified, and so that's going to help speed us along. But we've been living with a bad sewer problem, a stench going throughout our whole building for 5 years.
How long have you owned the building?
5 years. So, you know, what I'm asking from all of you is to be a little bit merciful.
We really have been.
Encourage businesses, because I want to stay here. I live here. I dump my money here. I shop here. But encourage small businesses, because I don't get that feeling from you. The feeling I get from you is threatening. I'm going to revoke your license if you don't step up the pace.
Did you not agree to, when you signed this?
Don't hide behind that.
I am.
Of course I agreed to that.
Okay.
Of course I did.
And you don't have to get
But did I know?
Hold on a minute.
Wait a minute. I can talk in any voice I want to. You don't regulate me, mister.
Excuse me,
We
sir.
will regulate you because we're going to tell you. You are 5.5 years, 7 years almost. You're supposed to have the curb and gutter in the back of the building. You're supposed to have
No,
the
we
sidewalk.
are not.
Yes, it says right here.
Were you in the meeting when Roger brought that up?
No,
That we
I
have
was not in the meeting,
5
Roger.
commercial
Roger didn't tell
driveways?
us nothing.
I'm sorry?
He didn't tell us anything about it.
You were present
What?
in the meeting we had here. We have 5 commercial driveways that interrupt any sidewalk that would go
Well, that
across.
had to be engineered out. It should be done and completed. Any other city, you wouldn't have
No,
got in that
we
building.
decided not to do it at this meeting.
No, we didn't decide that.
Roger?
You said that we would delay that.
No, you delayed the action, and we didn't.
Yeah. We had.
It's not practical, sir. It's not practical to have a sidewalk when you have 5 commercial driveways on one street.
You work it out with an engineer and you figure it out. That street, we're supposed to have a curb and gutter down it. You agreed to it right in this thing here. All these things.
Evidently, you weren't in the meeting when we talked about it. Sir?
Don't get mad at me. I'm just trying to figure out.
Oh, you're just trying to stick by the books, aren't you?
You bet I am
And
thinking
then
about it.
discourage people from doing their business.
I'm not discouraging you about anything.
You most certainly are. Every damn time I'm here, you're discouraging.
Excuse me.
So I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm sorry, Ernest.
I think that we ought to do is turn this over to the city council and let them deal with it. We did our part.
I appreciate what you're experiencing and what your experiences have been. You must be a businessman. You must have had a business plan. I mean, expenses come up. You've had 5 years. It's not like we've, been pushing you every week.
Yeah, and I've been pouring every drop of money that my business renders to that building to make it operable. I've had to buy lockers, which is a big expense. And from the money, as soon as I get the money, I can pour more into compliance with what the city wants.
My concern has been the sprinklers. It seems like
That's exactly right, and that's my concern as well. And that's why, you know, this first phase is $34,000, and that's right out of our pocket. But we're on tag to do that.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? This is what, this was a discussion item?
This is a discussion item.
This is a discussion item, more of an update.
There's the letter.
I think we had that copy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have basically received an update on the progress.
Yeah. I mean, I'll make my comments very brief, is I've gone through the minutes over the last 5-6 years, and this has come up several times with a lot of these things. You obviously seem very upset. On the other hand, these are not new items that have been brought to your attention. So for you to be upset with us over things that have been brought to you,
Sir, I'm not.
It's confusing.
I'm trying to explain something that it would be nice if we had some encouragement rather than threatenings. A month ago, you had a meeting. I'm sorry, I got real dry mouth. You had a meeting, we just completed putting the sidewalk in that weekend. It was $4,000. At your meeting, I understood you voted to revoke my license. You know what that does to me? You know how would that make you feel? You took your money that you had to comply with the city, put in the sidewalk that they want, and I know it's 5 years later, but it's when we had the money to do it. And then I hear they want to revoke my license.
I understand your concern. All due respect, these were all items that were handed to you when you first opened
And most
business.
all of them, sir, have been complied with.
But not all of them.
Thank you very much. Huh?
But not all of them.
Not the fire sprinklers. We're working on that.
Okay.
90% of those have been completed,
Okay.
or more. The fire sprinklers, according to Roger, is the main priority, and that is my main priority. And that's why I'm trying to get as much money as I can to get it done as fast as I can.
Okay.
And I have to generate revenue with as many lockers as I can, and we're mostly full. And so that revenue is what is going towards the sprinklers as fast as we can. So I would say by, hopefully next year, everything, no more sewer problems. We should be able to do phase 2 and phase 3 and have everything completed by 2016. You know, I want to add something, that this city manager is outstanding. He's in a vicarious situation between the business owner and the city council. But he's done nothing but encourage me. And I can tell from the tone of his voice that he's for us. He's for us making it. He's for us satisfying the city council and making everything compliant. And I just think you've got an outstanding man here, whether you know it or not. He goes to bat for the city, and I'm very respectful and appreciative that he's the city manager.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that's not called for, but I just thought this is a
Why not?
podium to pay a respectful compliment to a good man. And also, I saw that he was in the Hall of Fame at the Hollister High School. And he was a good basketball player.
Okay, Mr. Dare, one of the things that happens at the commission is that we're put in the role of, say, land use cops. And when a permit is issued, it carries the force of law because it came off of an ordinance. And a lot of those conditions on a permit, in general, are related to public health, safety, and general welfare. And that's why the commissions have to follow up to make sure conditions are complied with because of that police power of the city, public health, safety, and general welfare. So this was never a personal issue. It just was a permit that was outstanding, and the commissioners were very concerned that without the sprinkler system, for instance, public health and safety. And that's what it was all about. Not knowing, that's why we're glad you came in, different times to show us what was done. So we knew something was moving, and that was the key thing.
Right.
And,
something is moving. Tomorrow morning there should be movement.
Sounds good. Okay, well, thank you very much then.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we'll accept that as an update on the issue, and we'll go to the next one. Okay, 6A, and now we go to 6B, hillside regulations. I think this is critical today, and I'm glad that we have it on the agenda, and I'll let staff tell us what it's all about.
As a follow-up to our last meeting, I just kind of outlined you the intent and the purpose of the thing. Since then, I've developed the applicability of it and how it will be determined, interpretation and the definitions of the various things, and then the design review, and that's something that I'd like you to take. That's in E, the design review of how you want to review each project, and then of course F, the violations and enforcement. And if I miss some definition, this is a combination of looking at San Benito County, County Santa Clara, and let's see, the other one I looked at was Los Altos and Saratoga.
I think this is critical because A, no matter whether you design or not, you don't want houses going up in places where they shouldn't go, and there has to be standards to say you can't do this or you must do certain things to make it happen. Monterey County was faced with this. They had a lot of hills, steep hills, and so I think that for us having something similar to what San Benito County has, we're on the same, speaking the same language, generally for an area that probably is in the county jurisdiction, but is highly visible from San Juan Bautista City, and if they make it look like heck, we're going to suffer for it. So I support the concept of this thing.
And your attention is directed on the first page because I wanted to just make sure that I refresh there is that the applicability of this thing is that it's going to be for all slopes 20% or greater, and that locations along the viewshed corridor of Highway 156, San Juan Grade Road, San Juan Canyon, and the San Juan Highway south of the state highway. So any of the view sheds it's applicable to where you can see it. All locations that is visible from the nearest point along said viewshed corridor of the state highway of 156, that's 1/2 mile in either direction from your site. And these regulations do not affect any agricultural lands. And so it was important for we to say slopes are a determined factor, but your view sheds looking from the city and the corridors is just as important as the steep slopes.
And one thing about different ordinances, they all have their own languages. So So one thing we want to do is make sure that any of these definitions are not conflicting with any of the definitions already existing in our zoning ordinance.
And again, this is probably the first time you've seen it, and I would encourage to go through it and make comments and everything, and then we can, even if we wanted to have another work session, and then go through and strengthen the Section E in the design review is all development in hillside overlay zoning, and I call it overlay zoning because in our zoning ordinance, that hillside has different zoning classifications. Some is R1, some of it is agriculture and everything, but the hillside overlay will overlay that whole thing. Any mountain hillside slope is going to be a hillside overlay district. And then you will take and review that, and the staff will assess that and come back with recommendations. Any applications for grading in that overlay zone after the pre-meeting with the staff and everything, it can submit a grading application and it'll come to you for review and approval. Adequate landscaping, I've included in that, natural colors and selections to blend in, and any type of development that's going to occur on that. Height of the structure and architectural design consistencies, applicable, and then they'll submit full copies of their plans. Plans shall be accompanied by a geotechnical report, technical reports and documents addressing the constraints. And the constraints in hillside are really important. The landslide area, unstable soil, any type of novelties to that soil is paramount to where you have to address that. Nothing can be built upon that. That will remain open space.
And we live in earthquake country.
Yes.
I hear there's a fault nearby. I hear there's a fault nearby.
Yeah. I go to church on Sunday and I have to say, geez, I might be down there someday.
Yep.
But I don't want to be. So we got to fix it up.
That's bad.
Okay. Is anybody in the public who's gone through this would like to make any comments?
Carl Long.
Ms. Vonk?
Cara Vonk, San Juan Bautista. I'm very much in favor of hillside regulations, and we talked about it for many years. There's just one comment. I just took a very quick look at it in the binder, and it doesn't appear to ban ridgeline development. And I think that's something that you might want to look at.
There is ridgeline.
Good point.
And I believe the city of Hayward bans it, and that's a very urban area. And they've done a really beautiful job of keeping houses off. So when you look up at the mountains back there, there's no development on it. And I'm hoping that we can do something similar here. Thank you.
Okay, when you drive into Monterey, you're coming on Highway 1 South, and you have the big curve that looks over to Monterey Bay. And when you keep following your eye, you look at the ridge line, and you don't see any houses on it. That wasn't an accident. Everybody would like to put $1 million or $2 million house on the top there. The Monterey Peninsula Area Planning Commission, basically considering all the cities on the peninsula, they met and developed a Monterey Peninsula Area Plan. And one of the main tenets in that thing was no ridgeline development. And you had to be so far down below the ridge line so you didn't stick up there. And everybody looks over there and thinks it's great, but it didn't happen. It was made to happen. And the same thing here. If we don't set up to make things happen, we will get just the opposite. I think Ms. Vonk's comment was very, very timely for something like this, because I think you need to think about all the things that can happen here. Any other comments from the public?
I think I addressed the view shed in the item in the definition of 34. We want to strengthen the review and the hillside overlay. And I think I qualified it in 34. Ridgeline is a line connecting the highest point along a ridge and separating the drainage basins, often referred to as the crest of the hill.
And then you also have significant ridgeline, number 43.
So like I said, to keep the construction off of that, And with this ordinance and tying into the county, we have to make sure that they're playing ball with us and let us know every time anything comes up that can be seen from the city. Okay, commissioners, we close the public part and let's talk about it.
A lot to digest.
A lot to digest. Do you have anything you'd like to talk about or clarify before you go home and?
Well, what do we, yeah, we're just going to go home and review it? And
Yeah, because it's.
do we get together and review it together, come back together?
Oh, we
before
can do this at a meeting. Just do it on a regular meeting, but the thing is, it was not set for action, it's just for discussion.
Yeah, I know.
So the first time we brought it up.
But what do we do from here on out? I mean, I'm going to review it. I mean, I'm going to go through it.
Make comment?
Make
Okay.
comments.
Yeah.
We can, options we have, we can put it, set it for a meeting, for discussion for the next meeting. Or if it's in that way, tie up all the loose ends. And then from that meeting, we set it for a public hearing to consider adoption. I mean, stuff like this you don't want to jump into. You want to make sure, dots are crossed and the I's are dotted and whatnot. So my thought would be to bring it up at the next meeting, give it a chance, now that it's been made public, folks can watch this on TV and decide that they want to come in and talk about it or send in comments, hopefully. I think we're representing the city, and again, like we talked to Mr. Ponce, people come in the city, make them want to be here. And the beautiful views, any place you go, you always comment on the views. And we make views here by keeping undesirable things off the ridge and undesirable things from sliding down a mountainside. Again, public health, safety, and general welfare.
Sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've got some, probably make some comments in there. If you got comments, you can either pop them into staff and they can work on the next draft, or you can save them for the next meeting. But I think another meeting to discuss this thing publicly, now that some people have seen it, and be able to take it out, and then we'll be moving on it. That's a thought.
I agree.
Pat, what's your thought? Any good comments? Okay, so
We'll continue
Bring
it
it
the
back
next
for
meeting
discussion.
after we review it
We'll go
and
through
gone
it.
over it, yeah.
see what you want to set it up for, just a regular, well, it wouldn't be for action, it would be for discussion.
Yes.
Discussion item next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah,
set up for discussion, continue this as a discussion item to the next meeting.
To let us know that we are ready for action item.
So what you're talking about is no houses like on top of the hill.
Right.
The three on that side. Harvey's house would be all right because it's down lower, right?
And you want them down low, and also you got to watch, when it's on the steepest part. I mean, you can use 40-foot pylons or something like that, and that's going to look like hell.
Yeah.
It really will.
You have to be a representative.
So, so this gives you a chance to start reading it, and you drive around, you see hillside developments, so whoa, I don't want that. Is it covered? Okay. So we'll do that by consensus?
Yep.
Okay, staff got that for consensus? Okay. What's next? I have... Oh, a report on the Strategic Planning Committee.
Yeah.
Commissioner Redesoff is our liaison there.
Let's,
And I think it's good that you're keeping us posted.
Thank you. Yeah, the highlights of this is the soccer fields that were put on hold until spring are now back on to, or the main soccer field at the school is set up to be put in here. Rudy, do you know a little bit, is it in the next month or two? I think it's in the next.
I believe so. I think they said October, around October.
So yeah, they're actually going to be putting in the soccer fields. They found a way to bank enough water that the system they're using in the soil, they found a way to bank enough water to charge it. That was kind of the big water user, was to charge that soil with the additive, and they found a way to make it happen. So that's awesome. I think it's hats off to Teresa. She's really, really.
Can we do this at home too? Charging or?
I suppose you could. This is, I did ask the question, the additive they're putting in is something that does need to be renewed every 5 years, I think they said. And I believe the process is similar to aerating your lawn, then adding the additives so that it would go down.
It's like a gel?
It's like a gel, yeah.
Holds water, yeah.
So that's good. She's worked really hard on that. Discussion item that came up was doing an emailed, a newsletter, either an email format or something they can get to from the city website that gives general information, current events about the city. They'd also discussed doing things, topic items such as meet the mayor, have coffee with the mayor, something like that, and reporting on that. Kind of a fun thing, but informative. Apparently they did this in Gilroy, and it's extensive. They was there 13 or 17 pages, which I think we'd have a hard time filling 13 or 17 pages here. But
We need a public relations person.
Yeah, and that was one of the discussions that we had, was setting up a public relations person. The San Juan Visitor Center that was brought up at last meeting is set up at the bakery. I walked in the other morning, and they have an arrangement with the bakery where they basically pay a small amount of rent to that. It's staffed by volunteers on the weekends who pass out pamphlets, and that's kind of on a 6-month plan to see how it works. Apparently it's working well, passing out a fair amount of pamphlets, so that's pretty cool. We approved for the general plan 2035 some verbiage regarding gateway monuments. And it was pitched the idea of a solar initiative to make it mandatory to install solar panels on new buildings and new developments. And we had quite a bit of discussion, borderline debate on how to do that.
Thank you. Okay, future agenda items. You've got the hillside coming up.
I had a question about, maybe, I don't know if it's this or the next item. Curb, gutter, and sidewalk at the Valero station, and was that a part of their conditions?
Where's Richard? It wasn't.
It wasn't? Yikes.
It wasn't, right? Was it?
The Valero station had a condition of curb, gutter, and sidewalk.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess my question is, maybe we can put that down as a discussion item as to,
They have to widen the street there too.
was that on Valero or was that on the city?
Oh, you're talking about this one?
I'm talking about Valero.
Well, they were supposed to put them sidewalks in, and they never did do it.
I guess
That's the
that's
same trouble we got.
kind of my question, is to review that.
Okay, review of the Valero use permit.
And the other question I had, and I think we've kind of touched on it here and there, was the white metal fence at JJ's Burger. And was that
Yeah.
something that was part of it, not part of it? And where does that fall in the mix?
They never come in front of us
No.
for putting that fence in.
Yeah. And when there's a wrought iron, I guess it's wrought iron, a fence that they're going to put at the driveway. What's that going to look like? We need to see that.
Yeah, so I think that needs to be before too much more gets done. I mean, the white metal one looks, well, I'll leave my comments.
And
It's not on there.
Is that project?
I know Van asked me about that, and I approached the owner of J&J Burgers, and I told him to tone it down, and he said he was going to do it, but he just hasn't got around to it.
But that piece of the property is not involved with the brewery, right? That's
No.
separate. So
Separate, yeah.
That's a separate whole issue.
That was
Even all that
right.
concrete they poured was separate.
That was a mistake.
It should have been all
Single
one.
property
See,
owner.
they should have come in front of us for all the
Contiguous
concrete
property.
work,
But
fences.
he was supposed to do pavers for the brewery.
But somebody changed it.
Yeah, but he did stamp
Oh,
concrete.
he came to me and says that he wanted to do stamped concrete that would look like pavers, and I says, well, as long as it looks like pavers, go ahead, you know. But then it didn't come out stamped. When they tell me stamped concrete, we do a lot of it, you know, and then it's stamped with the ridges in there and stuff. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like
And
up
it's-
at the cemetery when we
Yeah.
did the
Yeah.
crypts up there, it's all stamped brick.
And I see you landscaped up there. It looks very nice.
Yeah. Uh,
So I don't know if those need to be brought up as, those are concerning that they probably should have come to the planning commission and didn't. And
But
so I don't know
that-
if that needs to be said as a
That whole
discussion.
project there is separate. All that stuff should have come in front of it, because that is separate from the brewery.
Agreed.
The hamburger place is its own deal. They put concrete, they poured concrete around it, they put the fence up,
There's very little room for planting, it looks like.
they're planting that, none of it
Yeah.
was involved in that part.
Is it
It's
on
a
the
whole
landscape
separate
plan?
deal.
If it's on the landscape plan, it's concrete, we just take it out. I mean, that's bottom line. Violation is a violation.
That's too late now. We're going through a violation, I get beat up because it's got down there.
Well, that's what jackhammers are for.
I'm a little bit tired of this.
No, I think it's critical. They made a mistake. Well, I don't want more mistakes happening out there. I've seen too many times in my experience of mistakes that were done because it was easier to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, I'm not picking
Well,
up,
it's just like this house we passed down here on 3rd Street in the back. Now, they're supposed to have sidewalk and curb gutter. Is that going in or not going in?
Which one?
The, next to Dante's warehouse.
Oh,
When
Candelaria?
we passed that house, they were supposed to put concrete gutters and sidewalks in. The sidewalks there, they're supposed to put the gutters in.
Well, we take a look at that. I wasn't aware that there was a condition.
Well,
I always questioned
I
that.
remember it being out there, that that was a
We
condition.
passed it right here.
Yeah.
Well, talking about conditions, regarding the former Zeller House on Franklin, we had 11 conditions, and I had penciled in 12 and 13. One of them was the applicant required to mount Zeller sign. So we need to find out if that was incorporated into our conditions, and Richard's not here, but he might have the sign,
What house is that one?
the one that Jim West lives in. Because
Oh, yeah, some
Let's see.
artist made that sign.
he even agreed to it.
And what was the condition?
Well, what I wrote down on at our meeting, I wrote applicant required to mount Zeller sign. And then, do we get draft minutes of resolutions, conditions? No.
It'd be minutes of that meeting,
It should be
and that
minutes of
would
that
be
meeting.
They would incorporate
August-
all the conditions?
I remember
August,
that coming, I can't remember if it was
August
incorporated in
17th,
the
2/12, wasn't it?
Yeah,
August
that
7th?
meeting was
August 7th, 2/12.
Yeah. And I can find this, but I can't find the subsequent meeting.
That's why when we make decisions, we need to put everything in there before we don't end up like Harvey Luck. And
Well-
they did have it, but nobody enforces anything in this town.
Because we have a turnover of city managers,
Staff.
yeah, city planners,
And like I told Mr. Ponce last week, and he said that we weren't, enforcing it. I says, hey, the reason this one is up is because the commission brought it up, and the fact that we went after Harvey's Lockers use permit, we should be going after any other outstanding. And we've talked about this for several years now. It's just going back and picking up conditions that should have been because the law didn't, the law didn't get them off the hook. They still have those conditions, and if it's not met, they shouldn't have the permit.
Maybe we should have a deal that when, like the house is finished down there, before they sign off the permit, that we get to look at it, make sure everything's done.
I thought that's what was done. And that part of the final inspection is the conditions of approval?
What house are you talking about?
What I'm saying is it comes back to us to make sure everything's on there, and then Roger signs it off.
yeah.
If it's not on there, we don't sign it off.
I mean, I have no problem with staff doing it because the conditions are written real clear. And if it's missed or it's not done, we can call up somebody to say, hey, we got a problem here.
So what's that house? Is it the Santana or Candelaria? The one next to Dante? Which family?
I don't know who the family, but the house sits way in the back.
Yeah.
They were supposed to put, when we had the meeting, they were supposed to put curbs and gutters in the front.
Oh, you mean the one they're working on now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to
They're
do
not
that,
done?
yeah. He's finishing up his stuff there, and he got the improvement plans to us. I signed it, and Joe's going to lower the thing. They're going to put the curb and gutter in. I thought you were talking about Dante's.
No,
all the way to the corner, and I says, I wasn't aware of
Just
that.
that one stretch.
No, but the Candelaria, they're going to put that in, yeah.
Because
I
remember
bet
that
they-
happened up here at the house on First Street? They agreed to put the sidewalk, curb and gutter in, and they never did it. It's been 30 years now.
I don't know about
It's like
that.
a pattern here.
I know that we have the improvement plans, and I signed them off, and they're ready to get going as soon as he finishes. What happened is when he finishes the building, they got into a lot of other little details inside, and they're finishing those up, new hardwood floor and tile.
'Cause that's where we get a lot of problems.
Well, as they're brought up, we move on it, so.
Yep. No, that's been taken care of, yeah.
Okay, any other items for next meeting?
Agenda, how about follow up on the monument sign? That that this planning commission is in support of that, and we would do anything to encourage that completion.
Yeah.
So that'd be,
We can pass a resolution on that.
I mean, if we're in the process of encouraging people.
Oh, wait a minute, he's going to bring that up, he's going to bring that up for an action.
Yeah, no, I know, but.
Yeah, and that
He's got to make in order for you to act on it, he's got to make an application.
No, I know, but we want to
Show that we're
let them
supportive.
know that we're
Yeah.
in support of that, and we want follow-up as far as discussion.
But you can't take any
No.
formal action
No.
on
Right.
just a comment.
Yes.
He's got to make an application before you.
But in that resolution, we can put some extra items that the commission
Yes.
supports it for these reasons, and we can go right back to the general plan and
Right.
guidelines and make it so solid that they have to put it up.
Yes.
Anything else?
I got a lot of, Roger, what's happening on the wastewater? The state not gonna give it to us, or they are gonna give it to us?
No, we're still going through the process and everything. They gave us we've asked for a 30-day extension to go through the stuff, and we're working on the regulations now.
I saw the purple valve signs at the ballpark, so we're not using purple water.
Well, we set those up, and all of the distribution is there and ready. And when we first fired it up, we used it to test it and stuff like that. So it's functional.
Okay.
Just now, we just got to get the permit to operate it.
Amazing.
Okay.
Okay, no other comments?
Comments?
No,
Yeah.
from the-
Sorry, I was
Oh,
just.
yeah, we have comments.
we have comments.
Whenever you ask.
I was looking for comments for the future agenda items.
No.
No,
Okay,
that's it.
comments of commissioners.
I was just going to, I agree with Mr. Adair that, that the staff that we have is doing an excellent job, an awesome job. And I'd just like to reiterate that, and I agree with him, that half of the things that we're getting done today
Should have been
is
done,
because of our
yeah.
city staff, and particularly Roger Grimsley. But I don't agree with Mr. Adair, the fact that as far as I know, since I've been on this planning commission, I've seen nothing but encouragement to invite, to protect, to support, that our businesses and our merchants here get the best that we have to offer for this city. And I don't know anybody on this commission that does not support and encourage better business. And if there's someone out there that we have, I don't know, we continue to bend over backwards for, some of the things that are happening based on the decisions of this commission, I would like to have for my personal life too, because there are a lot of things that I need to do financially that I cannot do because, if I could wait a little bit longer, I could get things done better. And with all due respect, I think that this commission has done an outstanding job to support anybody when it comes to merchants and businesses. Unfortunately, our encouragement and our invitations sometimes just go unnoticed. And that's the sad thing about it. I'd like to see more people from our businesses come into our meetings and see that we are willing to do whatever we can to help them. And this commission has done everything, I think, to encourage that.
For example, this thing would have not happened in any other city.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's been 5 years.
Yes. So.
Well, I was happy to hear that he's been seeing Roger, and
Yep.
but I was wanting to mention that we've had some
I
more
think we're a
meetings where
part
we
of that,
expecting him to be here and he wasn't here. So he could have told us he wouldn't be here or sent a note, or it seemed like he was indifferent or didn't care.
But Roger speaks for us as well. I think we support him and he supports us. And so when he speaks to any one client or applicant, he's speaking for all of us.
He said he had sewer
And
project.
he does it admirably.
5 years?
We explored it for
Water
the last
project
2
only
years,
had,
and
what, 2 years?
there was a lot of stench
4
in
years?
there, and we went inside, and I had Joe there a dozen times finding out where the sewer line is. We thought it went to Church Street, and then when we started digging up inside his building and jackhammering floors out, we then discovered it went to 3rd Street, and when we got out there, we found that when a storm line was put in by the city, they just severed his line and didn't say anything and
And the
backfilled it.
inspector approved it or said there'd be no problem.
Yeah, right.
So the city paid for it, right?
So we corrected it, we fixed it, but it was until that we were aware of it, then we found a way to fix it.
Well, that was a very nice commendation. Mine is not as dramatic, but I'm from Pasadena, and there was an issue this past week where kids were at a camp near the Rose Bowl, and a big tree fell on some children and seriously injured them. And we're supposed to have El Nino, and I know we have a lot of old dead trees around. I think we really need to take a look at some of them. So.
Yes, that is one of our
I mean,
priorities.
that's a big liability.
We're searching for a tree trimming bucket machine so we can go and start topping some of these trees down.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work on orange trees.
Yeah.
Removed a couple of them.
Did you get a permit?
Absolutely not. These were not on the street.
That doesn't matter.
There's no tree.
I didn't get a permit.
Do you want some comments about that?
No. No, do you want some comments why I didn't?
Any other
You
comments
didn't
from
want to deal with
commissioners?
us?
My quick comment is August 22nd is going to be NorCal Camaros coming to town. So we should have about 15 Gen 5 Camaros.
Wow. We need to put that in the Mission Village Voice.
NorCal
it's too
Camaros?
late.
It's too late, yeah, unfortunately. So NorCal Camaros.
You know what, you still couldn't put on the website.
I'll see if I can do that.
Go to Bonita LinkedIn.
Yep. We're doing we're starting in Los Gatos, going to Santa Cruz, down to Monterey.
Wow.
Driving, of course, the speed limit on Crazy Horse, and end up at one of our local eateries. We're trying to get into the Mission to get them all lined up in front of the Mission and get some pictures. So we'll see.
VFW breakfast Sunday. VFW breakfast. Do you want to say that?
Pancake
on
breakfast.
television?
Pancake breakfast, really?
I was wondering, is the study of the matrix ongoing? Is it something that needs to come back at the next meeting?
That's right.
These approved it.
Is that something you need to agenda?
We're done.
We approved it.
Yeah, but we need to bring it, no, I think we're done.
Yeah, you're done.
We're done. It goes to council now.
Yeah,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure for mine.
Okay.
but Rudy's working on it to put it in the frame. It's gonna come back to you,
Okay.
a final thing before we submit.
Oh,
to
okay.
council.
Okay, great.
There's
Thank
a lot of things that we have to figure out.
Just gonna,
I got one last thing.
sure.
San Juan Cemetery just finished up their crypt up there, planted all the roses, put in another 390 crypts.
Wow, cool.
That's all finished and paid for.
So I see that you're watering the street trees by drip,
Right.
but not the other thing,
We
like,
can't water the other one because we don't
Right.
have it. We're waiting for, we got all the pipelines in and stuff, but we're waiting for and Roger's been working on it, but the state just won't let us.
so if I go up there and fill my water bottle a couple times, that's okay?
Yeah.
Water roses?
The water's still good.
Yeah. I mean, not for me, for the
No,
roses.
she's talking if she happens to dump it on the roses.
And then fill it up again using
Right.
this.
You can use all of
Okay.
those.
Yeah, lots of trips.
We
I
got-
see you around there a
We
lot
put
a
in
few
two different
times.
pipes. We put in the purple and the white. When it's all working, one you can use for drinking and the other one would be just for plants.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed today that you planted, it looks very nice.
So we planted all the roses.
Yeah.
Now you got a job.
Is this on the agenda?
They're not heritage.
No.
Okay, we don't want to get off. This is more just comments.
We're just discussing.
Okay, I have one comment, though. Staff?
Roger.
Staff? In last week's freelance, there was an article, Earthbound Plans
Oh, yeah.
Phased Build-Out. Can you tell us anything about that? Did they come by us?
I don't know too much about it, but I know they're gonna double their size.
It's on Bonito Link. Yeah.
I know, but I mean,
Yeah.
did they talk to our city manager
I
about
was
it?
talking to Anthony Vitello. It's gonna be twice as big as it is right there now.
And why, we never get never get included in the discussion.
I mean, this is talk about entryways.
They should include us, because, when it's it's not in our sphere, so they have no obligation, you know.
It'd be a
They
neighborly
just
thing to
bought
do.
35 acres across the street off of Larry King
Yeah.
for a big trucking parking lot.
I mean, we got some, we have some industrial land on the south end of town of our own that we could have used, they could have used. That would have been nice to have them, have one of their plants, one of their, what do you call it, campuses in
They're
the
taking
city.
up good farmland out there.
Yeah, that's my real concern.
That's not a good idea.
Now, who decides that? The county planning or the supervisors?
County planning.
Are you sure?
Answer
We
for
need-
that.
Answer
Why
for
can't we write, why can't we write to the county and tell them?
Maybe we should bring this back for discussion.
Hey, that's good.
Okay.
I'd say that's a great idea to
Yeah.
bring that back
Next
for
meeting,
discussion.
discussion of earthbound farms development.
They put in down below, they got the long orchard.
Thank you for helping us stay online.
They put in all the holding pans down on the river now. Miles.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. It doesn't sound like,
Don't go beyond.
okay, never mind.
Okay, since we're going to put that on the agenda, if you could consider a letter that the Planning Commission could send to the Chairman of the Board of Supervisors expressing concern about things happening out there. And I just put that as, something that we can work with and ultimately Chairman can sign and
Maybe
send.
the county
Board of
planners
Supervisors.
could
Yeah,
help.
Board of Supervisors with a copy of the Planning Commission, a planning planner. But it's got to go to the top. We've been playing a game too long with these guys. We try hard, but like I say, but put it this way, when all is said and done, did we make an effort?
Yeah.
And if I made an effort, that's all I want. I didn't oversee something or let something go because I knew somebody. Okay. City manager, any comments you want to make? Assistant city planner? Okay. I'll move for.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Or do you want to keep talking? 8:41.